All right, I had to restart. I had to restart, guys. I was thinking about going live on my alt, because the hate isn't there. I can see. I don't get as much hate on my alternate account, so yeah. I let people up at a couple thousand likes. Let people up once you get to a couple K. Okay, whatever. I broke my own rule.
What's up?
Hello, Dale.
Hi.
How you doing?
Something foreskin.
Ah, yes. I don't really talk about that topic often. The
I know.
C
I'm just parodying myself.
What are you talking about?
the C topic.
The dirty sea.
Mm,
The biggest, the second biggest problem in America, right behind abortion.
Yeah. Those are probably the only two topics I don't talk about, the T
Oh,
topic and the C topic.
the T top. Okay, so we have the A topic. That's the first and foremost problem in America. The B topic, which is these bitches be crazy, and the C topic, circumcision.
Yeah.
So we have crazy. We have circumcised crazy B that needs to get out there and abort. See, it goes in either direction. We have the ABCs of degeneracy.
Yeah.
We haven't even gotten to D yet, which is just in and of itself degeneracy.
Yeah.
E, we have shoot. Uh what's E? What's the E issue?
I actually don't know. Oh, there's also, well, I think you misheard me. I said T topic. Like,
I know.
yeah.
The T topic.
Yeah.
You know, there's a lot of different T topics out there though. So let me think here. What would the E topic be? The E problem in America. What's the social estrogen? The E topic.
Yeah.
Eugenics. Yes, eugenics.
Oh yeah, that one, yes. Yeah.
Eugenics. E, B, C, D, E, F. The F topic. What would the F topic be? Feminism.
Yes.
G. Genital mutilation. We have to double up on the circumcision there. Genital mutilation.
Yeah.
Doubling up.
You should make a
H
prompt. You should make a
H
prompt with
is
all the letters.
it. We have the H problem.
Yeah.
That's the H man himself.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah, we have a lot of those.
the I problem is just the letter I. People are too self-centered.
I mean, there's also, I would say, the other I word where people, think it's okay to do that stuff with your close relatives. That
Oh, yeah, that's an American problem.
Hello.
The J
How's
problem.
it going?
Oh, the J. Oh no, I shouldn't have said that. That in and of itself is a name for it. Okay, we'll just skip past J. Hey, how's it going, Frenulum?
Hey, I'm pro-choice. I mean, not pro. I'm pro-life. Sorry.
How old are you?
I'm 19.
Okay, you're pro-life. Okay.
Are you like? What do you
Well,
guys think?
Well, we're pro-life as well. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
yeah, I'm super duper ultra pro life. I think
Like,
if you harm children, we should throw you in a river.
do you guys agree on like kind of? Sorry. You guys agree for like any term limits, any time limits for abortion, or?
No, we don't.
I think the term limit would be conception. The moment you're conceived, you have rights.
Yeah, when you're conceived, it's wrong. Yeah.
It's like when you're a living human being, that's when you have human rights. You know.
I'm pro-choice because women have bodies.
Round of applause. I have to concede my argument.
Wait, stop. Shut up. Did you not realize that women have bodies?
Shit.
I stumped you, right?
Well, I'll have to concede. I'm abandoning God. I was gonna get baptized in a month here, but now I renounce all belief in
There you go.
anything good. Everything's evil, and I'm gonna evil max from here on out.
And men don't have bodies.
Well,
They don't-
What do you mean by bodies? You mean like a body count? Like
Men have no
Men like you-
physical form.
Men like
Women
you
do.
don't get any bodies.
Yeah, men don't even have a physical form.
Yeah.
Really? So
Yeah,
what am
only
I?
women.
The
And that's why we
patriarchy-
can have abortions.
The patriarchy is Yaldabaoth, and we live in a feminista Gnostic society. So yeah.
How unhinged Candy is. There you go.
Well, so obviously, women are the only physical manifestations, and all male bodies that are physical are just distorted aspects of Sophia because we're feminista Gnostics, is what we are.
Exactly.
Oh,
Thomas?
oh, it's this Thomas guy. I've seen him before.
Hey, Thomas,
Thomas-
are you pro-life or pro-choice?
I'm pro-choice.
Anyone want to talk to him? I've seen him before.
I'll talk to him. Do you want to explain why you're pro-choice?
Yeah, I think entities that don't have history of mental states or having mental states are not morally considerable, and I think you can fill up the blank.
Well, how do you come to any sense of morals?
What? Is this like a metaethical
Well, this is
discussion?
a-
or like just a moral?
How?
Yeah, to a certain extent it is.
Sorry.
Sorry, no,
Yeah.
I was just saying to a certain extent, yes, it is a meta-ethical discussion to a certain extent.
Usually pro-life and pro-choice is like a normative ethics, not like a meta-ethical
Well, that's what
discussion. We
Dale.
can
That's
talk
what
about the
Dale likes to
meta-ethics.
ask. That's what Dale liked to ask. So I mean, he asked the meta ethical.
Okay, yeah, should. Okay.
I mean,
How do I
meta-ethics.
know?
It's
By
not
using my
necessary.
met-
It's not necessary though.
I mean, they play into a normative conversation to a certain extent, but whatever. I mean,
You have to take things holistically, so like it would, whatever.
wait, so
It's fine.
you're
You
saying?
can ask those questions if it's like just a conversation. Okay, go ahead.
Oh, wait, okay, me or Dale?
If you guys want to see it, if you guys want to go ahead, I mean, I don't really. It's not really a debate. It's a conversation.
Yeah. I'm just trying to ask Thomas. So you're saying that beings without Turner experience. What was the word you used?
Like, yeah, you can use experience as mental states, like everything that is mental. Yeah. When I say mental states, just to be clear, I'm talking about stuff like beliefs, desires, intentions, likes, even perceptual states. Like what you see, what you hear, stuff like that.
Okay. So why are mental states necessary to moral consideration?
Because I think they are the only thing that delineates between objects that we usually consider as non-morally considered and entities that are
Okay.
considered
Yeah.
as morally considered. So,
Yeah,
like, for
that's fine.
example,
That's
okay, go ahead.
that's okay. Go ahead. I mean, so far it's just begging the question and is ought, but yeah, go ahead.
Is ought?
Is ought. You're saying, well, these things generally are valued, therefore they ought to be valued. It doesn't really explain any value within the being.
No,
It
no, no, no.
more
That's
just
not.
explains
That's
that
not. That wasn't the explanation. The
Okay,
explanation
yeah, no,
is
you're fine. I could have misunderstood. Go ahead.
Okay, fine. The explanation is well, the justification is something like an abductive argument. Do you know what an abductive argument is?
Yes.
Okay, cool. So it's just like the best explanation that explains our moral intuitions. That's like the basic idea. And if we want to explain what is in the stick that allows us to, to kick it and punch it without it being immoral, while, having a human and kick it and punch it while it being immoral, right? What is the properties that are different between the two that makes one allowable and what not allowable? I'm saying that the distinctive properties are the fact that they have a history of mental states and the other one is not.
Sure, but that's different from saying it's generally what's valued. So that's why I'm asking why do you value that thing? That's why
It's not
I
about
brought up
generally
the
valued.
question and ought.
Look, I'm saying it's consistent with our moral intuitions, right? And that would be the argument. Sorry, not of it. No, sorry.
obviously-
Let
okay,
me
go
make a
ahead.
stronger claim.
Okay.
Let me make a stronger claim. Not only that it is, that explains better our moral intuitions, it also is far more parsimonious than any other principle that one might hold, and also it doesn't have the problems of like ridiculous counterexamples, while other positions that you might have, as far as I can tell, can have those ridiculous counterexamples.
Wait, so you think that saying that something that basically first person experience it being necessary for moral consideration, you're claiming that doesn't have any sort of like ridiculous or absurd hypotheticals that could be applied to it? Is that what you're claiming?
I think every position has some hills that gotta be willing to die on.
Yeah. All hills, every position is going to have some kind of hole in it. I mean, that's why this is undecided on.
Look, because it's like not.
We want to introduce evil
it's
A's
not-
really quick too, because I feel like I just realized you've been sitting there for a while. If we want to introduce you,
Oh,
do you want to give your age and
yeah. I'm 20 and pro-choice.
okay,
Oh.
okay, there we go. Now we got some opposition. Go ahead, Thomas. Like I said, evil.
Yeah,
Protect, you want to do like an open panel or?
Yeah, you can do an open
Whoa.
panel.
Okay, yeah, I was gonna say we can all talk as long as we're not like cutting over each other and all that sort of thing. We can all kind of talk, but
I adore
go
you.
ahead, Thomas.
Yeah, because usually like people on TikTok are like not humans. Like at least I feel like they're not humans. But in the sense that they are like all interrupting and behaving like really bad. So what I was about to say before, that the one of the things that I'm thinking about when I think about like moral arguments and moral conversations is one can ad hoc eliminate a particular value or a particular principle, or add one value and principle when you are giving specific counterexamples, right? So because it's like it's not physics. You cannot in physics you cannot be ad hoc. You cannot just add principles or eliminate principles, right, to your theory,
Yeah.
Be right back.
right?
Okay.
No problem.
You guys can continue. I'll be right back.
Okay. So Thomas, you're pro-choice because of. I keep forgetting the word.
Because of the moral.
Experience? Is that the word
I
you
just
use?
said, look, just moral consideration. They don't. Fetuses don't have moral consideration because they don't have a history of mental states. Like
Okay, yeah.
history of experience. Let's just say experiences. It's maybe
That's fine.
easier to.
Mental states, experience, whatever you want to say. That's fine. I just didn't want to
Yeah,
say
okay.
the wrong thing.
Cool.
So what do you like? Why do you think that's necessary for moral consideration?
Why do I think mental states are necessary for moral consideration?
Yeah.
I think we talked about it before. I said it's because it's the best explanation to our moral intuitions.
Okay, I know, but that's just begging the question. So that's what I'm saying. I'm not just saying like, oh, if you get like,
It's
here,
it's,
I could put it this
I
way.
agree with you. In
That's
some
okay,
sense,
so
I
I
agree
can
with you
give
that
you a
it's
kind
begging
of
the question.
Yeah, no, that's fine. I'm just saying I can give. Well, you're saying, well, it's the best intuitive answer because it's what my intuition leads me to. It's like, okay, yeah, I know that your intuition leads you to.
That
Okay,
wasn't
go
the
ahead.
argument.
Okay, no,
The
you're fine.
argument
I might have misunderstood.
is-
I'm just saying.
Look,
Go ahead.
no, that's all good. That's like a really good faith from you. What you asked me for an argument. I said, well, that's like this is what I hold to. This is what I believe because it adheres to our moral intuition. Now, I'm not entirely sure if I said maybe my moral intuition. That would be also fine, but I would make the stronger claim, right, that people that think about those subjects will have those types of intuitions more, right?
Yeah.
And I'm talking about like neutral observers. Now then you can ask me, well, that's begging the question because obviously I wouldn't think so, right?
Well, I
And
wouldn't
this
say
is
it's
what I
begging the
think.
question. I'd say the way that you explained it now, it would be more of ad populum.
Okay, like, okay, when people
It's
talk
just meaning
about
that something is
moral-
morally right because a majority of people say that it's morally right. That's just all the ad populum fallacy would be.
No,
So,
yeah,
and
that
maybe you were
would be
referring to
an ad
yourself
populum.
specifically. Sorry, I was just
That-
saying like that you might not be referring to yourself specifically, but if you're just saying that, as a consensus among people, it would just be an ad populum fallacy. It doesn't mean that it's right just because
do
most
you-
people agree on it.
Okay. Usually, when people talk about like immoral arguments, and like for example, I'm giving you a principle, you are giving me a particular principle, and we're like arguing about that, right? Usually, what we do is then giving some type of a counter examples, such that those counter examples are relevant to the to the moral principle, but still counterintuitive, right? Very, very absurd. Right,
Yeah.
like for example, yeah, exactly. So like I'm using the intuitions because it's usually the only machinery that we have in the conversation about morality. If you want to say it's like
Yeah.
ad populum, like that's fine, but a lot of people can be like very, very, like very crazy in their moral positions, and the only thing that you can say, well, that's absurd. No one will take you seriously, and I think I'm like entitled to say that we will all be against you if one day we will need to fight for our moral principles.
Yeah. So, in terms of some sort of hypothetical to your stance, like the comatose baby example, have you ever heard about that whole thing? So it's basically just a woman's pregnant, the baby's developing from embryo to fetus, and then she gives birth, but something's wrong with the baby, and they find out when it's born that basically the baby's born into a coma, but they were in a coma during the pregnancy too. So, in short, they've never had any previous mental states. Would you think it would be morally permissible as if the mother didn't want the child to unalive the child because they have never experienced previous mental states, which would be the moral qualifier by your standard?
It doesn't have to be the mother, but like let's suppose we are all okay. Like we are all okay with that. I would say, yeah, I wouldn't take that to be moral. If they don't have like the mental states.
So you think that if a baby is born,
I don't even think that most people will take that to be immoral, right? People unalived babies for far less good reasons or morally permissible reasons.
wait, what morally permissible reasons people have to do
So,
that?
for example, as far as I remember, in Rome, when a baby didn't have particular weight, even if they didn't have that weight, they unalived the baby.
And you think that's
Right.
morally permissible?
No, I don't think it's morally permissible.
Okay,
I just
neither
think
do
that
I.
the majority.
Neither
No,
do
no.
I.
Sorry, what?
And that's part of why the majority is irrelevant.
No, I understand. I'm just saying that this type of an example is not that counterintuitive. Like you do have, let's say, the life. You do have like the geometry of a baby with a human flesh, right? But it still wouldn't make it like any different. It seems to me like, yeah, it doesn't have any mental states. Like maybe I'll
So
just
if a
like
child was
appeal
born,
to.
if a child
Yeah.
was born into a coma, you think it would be okay to do whatever you want to them?
Not whatever you want to them, because you might say that.
Wait, really quick. Why not? If they don't have any moral consideration, then why can't you do whatever that you want? You said, wait,
Yeah,
just
because
to,
there are.
just to be clear, you said that these mental states are necessary for moral consideration, right?
Yeah, that's correct.
Okay, so if they're
Because you
necessary,
can
then I
still.
don't see how you can morally violate a being. Okay, just answer how you can morally violate a being who doesn't have moral consideration.
So, do you think? So let me just like explain it. I don't know if I should give an example, just like to show how it is not contradictory, or should I just
Whatever
like
you want to
give
do.
the reasons by itself?
Whatever
But
whatever
usually
you
you
think
can
will
have.
demonstrate it more clearly.
So, would you prefer the example, or would you prefer the argument
Oh, I'm
itself?
I'm just saying whatever you think will demonstrate your thinking more clearly.
Okay, cool. So one thing can also be not morally considerable, and still there are some actions that, if would be toward that thing, would still be immoral, right? Like for example, someone says that I'll the Schmeck's doll, right, is not morally considerable, but it would. But some Christians would still say, actually, like religious and even non-religious people would still
Yeah.
say it would be immoral to put your schmeckel into it,
Or
right?
you
Because
could
it's like some
say,
type
you
of an
know,
indecent.
if
Because it's
it's
an
like
indecent
a
act.
No, I get what you're saying. I'm just
Yeah,
trying to give you a better example. You could say if it's like a Smex doll that looks like a 6-year-old or something, that you might say the actual subject doesn't have moral consideration, but the action is still immoral regardless of the harm done or the
right.
lack thereof
Exactly.
to
Yeah.
the subject.
Right, exactly. Because of the indecent action. It's not about what it is about or towards. It is in virtue of it being an indecent action.
Yeah.
It can also be towards a ball or like towards a tree even. Some like I would say that it would be weird. Some people say it would be immoral, but they wouldn't say they are not.
Yeah.
They are morally considerable.
Yeah, I agree
Right.
with you. A subject doesn't have to have moral consideration in order for something immoral to be done to it. But what I'm wondering
Right.
is where the
Not to
equivalence
it. Just
is. Yeah, no, I get what you're saying. Like I said, if you're having Smex with a doll that looks like a 6-year-old, and you go, oh well, this doll doesn't have moral consideration, therefore it's not immoral. Like, yeah, no, I get that a subject doesn't have to have moral consideration in order for something to be immoral done to it. What I'm saying
yeah,
is
but it's not what it's
where
done to.
wait. Yeah, no, really quick. I'm just saying I understand that idea. What I'm wondering is if you can draw the equivalent between, you know, smexing, doing the adult dance or whatever with a baby doll and unaliving a living human being, like where the parallel would be between that.
Well, you probably meant to ask, well, where will be the delineation, not the parallel.
No,
Well,
I'm
the
asking for the
the
parallel. I'm
delineation.
asking for the parallel. You can give the delineation if you want, but I'm asking for the parallel.
No, but there is no parallel, right? Because in one case you can do something, in the other case you are not doing something. You're asking
Yeah.
what is the difference between the two, not what is the same.
No, I
Or
am
am I
asking.
mistaken?
No, I am asking what's the same, because I'm not asking what the difference is, because that's my whole point. You just said there is no parallel. Well, if there is no parallel, then it's not really a good analogy.
Sorry, I'm my mistake. I'm confused. I
No,
thought
it's
you were
okay.
asking me what would be the difference. Sorry, what would be the parallel between the Schmecksdoll example, right, to the unaliving of fetus example,
Well, that
right?
is
And then
basically
the
what I'm asking. That is basically what
no,
I'm
no,
asking.
yeah,
Because I'm saying I
okay,
agree with you
but
that
if I'll
a
give you a
subject does
parallel,
not require moral consideration in order for something immoral to happen, including this thing. Like I said, obviously a baby doll doesn't have moral consideration. You can cut its head off or whatever, nobody cares. But
Right.
it's still, if some grown man is doing inappropriate things with a baby doll, we can say, the baby doll isn't being harmed. The baby doll doesn't have moral consideration as a being.
Right.
But this thing that's being done, it's still wrong. So I agree with you. A being doesn't need moral consideration in order for something immoral to happen to them. What I'm saying is I'm asking for you to draw the parallel between the example that I do agree with, concerning the older man and a young child-looking doll, right? That's still wrong, even though there's no moral consideration to the doll. And you're saying, well, abortion or unaliving a non-sentient baby is still wrong, even though they don't have moral consideration. So what I'm asking is for you to draw the parallel between the two, because one I do understand and the other I don't. So I'm asking you to delineate, like, what's the same between.
Wouldn't a parallel mean? Look, English is like my fourth language. Wouldn't a parallel means something that is like parallel, something that is like similar between the two? Because if they are similar, then I would agree. Okay, but if they are similar, I wouldn't think that unaliving a fetus would be morally acceptable, right?
No,
if they are similar.
Yeah, sure, that's fine.
So you're asking me to like rebut my own position.
No.
Which is like fine, it's okay to do that.
But if you're using it as an analogy, then that would mean there's some sort of parallel between the two. What I'm asking is what that parallel is. Because also what I'm saying is I agree that something can be wrong. I agree 100%. Something can be wrong even if a subject is not morally considerable. Like the baby doll example. I don't think that baby doll has moral consideration as a being, but I would still think of it as wrong if a man is using it for sexual purposes. So we don't disagree on the fact that a subject does not require moral consideration in order to be violated or in order to, in order for something to be wrong. What I'm asking is how a baby doll is the same or analogous or comparable to a living human being.
I'm saying it's not comparable. Okay, let me just
Well,
ask
if it's not
the
comparable,
question.
then I don't know why you used it as an analogy. If it's not comparable.
Okay, let me ask myself the question that I think would be similar to what you asked me, and to correct me if I'm wrong. Okay. Okay. Why is it the case that you can have something that is morally inconsiderable, while still not doing the action towards it, right? And that would not apply. Why would it not apply to the fetus scenario? Would that be a fair question or no?
Basically, it's basically what it is I'm asking. I'm saying I agree that a subject does not require moral consideration in order for something wrong to happen. But what I'm asking is, how does this apply to the fetus? I'm not saying, so I don't disagree with what you're saying.
No, I understand. We agree on the fact. Yeah, we agree on the fact that there are some objects that are not morally considerable, while still actions being done to them can be considered morally impermissible. Right?
Yeah.
We agree on that. Let's just not repeat that.
Yeah. That's what I'm saying. I agree on that. Now the question is how it applies to abortion. That's the only question.
Okay. When you ask how does that apply to abortion, you mean that why wouldn't it be the case that unaliving a fetus would be permissible while still oh my god, now I'm confused. I thought I asked myself a really good question before.
You're okay.
Yeah, sorry. So so the question was, you said that if something is morally inconsiderable, you could still do an immoral action to it. Why wouldn't it be applied to abortion, right? Will that be a good question, or something similar to what you're asking?
Yeah, I mean, I think.
Okay.
Even if I would
say yes or no.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. So
why
the difference?
Why would it be applied to abortion? Why would it?
odd you ask me, but usually people ask what would be the difference and not the parallel. This is what got me thrown out.
Yeah, no, I'm asking
so
what I'm asking. It's called. You know what steel man is?
yeah, I know what still.
Yeah,
Steelman means you're just basically taking the position of your opponent and making it stronger, like the best version of that position.
Basically. So I'm
yeah,
trying to
so-
understand where. Yeah. So go ahead. Sorry.
Yeah. So the problem with the difference, not the difference. The reason why it won't apply to that particular thing is that the action is not immoral because it is done to a particular entity that is not morally considerable. It is wrong because it is on itself an indecent action, right? You can also think about a lot of other stuff as
So
indecent.
what's
Usually when I say
indecent about it?
like I don't know, just feels icky and gross and like in a schmexual way. Usually schmexual way. Schmexual. Usually schmexual actions are like not in all cases, but usually are considered to be indecent, right? And that would be very so. For example, let's just suppose that the doll. It wouldn't be indecent to stab it, right? Or to punch it. Usually we actually have dolls that we want to punch just like to train on like a human body, right? But we wouldn't, do an indecent action with our genitalia, right? That would be like the difference.
Okay, but wait. So do you think that should be like illegal if a baby is born into a coma?
Sorry. By the way, I'm not even, just to be clear, when you're talking about applied ethics, I'm not even sure that the coma babies don't have any type of a mental state, right?
Well,
I'm just like went with the. No, coma doesn't mean that you don't have mental states.
Yeah, I know. I
They-
understand.
it just
I think she's stipulating. I think she's stipulating if this was the case.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say.
No, yeah,
I'm not
this
talking
is why
pragmatically. I'm just saying that
I
if it were the case that a baby didn't have mental state, would it be okay
I
to
agree
do
with-
what you
yeah.
want to them?
right. I understand. I agree with you. This is why the legal terminology thrown me out because that would be applied ethics. So yeah, I would say absolutely.
Well,
I don't
mean,
think it would be immoral for an entity or like a baby that didn't have any type of a mental history to be
yeah, well, I was gonna
alive.
say, I know this is kind of a paradox, but when I say legal, I mean like normatively legal, which I know is kind of a paradox. But I'm just saying like I'm not even talking about necessarily the real world, but like in a perfect world,
Yeah, I understand.
you know, yeah.
So in that
What
case,
is
yeah,
illegal?
I don't think it would be illegal in
Okay.
this moral world where everyone does what is right.
Yeah, I mean, whatever. Yeah, okay. Somebody else can go. I've kind of been talking for a
I guess
while.
I'll just ask the question, like, the subjective experience, did this apply to animals as well with this? Did you give them protection?
Absolutely, yeah. Absolutely, yeah.
So like you would give
And
like
by the way, that doesn't mean that that doesn't mean that I'm a vegan, and I can also explain that.
all right, yeah, please elaborate. If you don't mind.
One can say an entity is morally considerable while still doing stuff like unaliving it, right? The basic, for example, the
Oh,
basic
you're funny, Thomas.
example
I'll put it
is
that way. You're funny.
sorry.
You're just funny. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
Am I funny? Okay,
Yeah.
sure.
Just because it's morally considerable doesn't mean you can't unalive it. Okay.
Yeah,
Oh my
no.
God.
It just means you are morally considerable. Like for example, someone is trying to hurt you and trying to unalive you, right? You would be justified in unaliving them, but they would still be morally considerable.
I mean,
Yeah, that makes sense.
You are
Follows.
You are. Sorry, go ahead, man.
They
Oh, no, I
wouldn't
was-
be
I was
morally
agreeing with that, yeah.
considerable- sorry. I'll leave it at this and I'll let you go, Genesis. I was just going to say, they wouldn't be morally considerable enough to not unalive, and that's what we're talking about.
yeah, that's
Go
what
ahead,
I'm saying.
Genesis.
What I mean by that is that you will consider the fact they're humans and the fact that you are doing something to them, but you'd still be justified in some type of a moral calculus or whatever to unalive them.
Yeah, like for instance, people like women that actually do go about getting abortions, they still feel some kind of remorse afterwards. This is still like some kind of moral consideration for the said entity.
Oh,
Yeah, not
absolutely.
enough.
No, you can actually make the argument. You can actually make the argument that fetuses are morally considerable, and still it is justified. Sorry, not justified, but morally permissible to unalive them.
Well, my question is, like, if a rapist says, "Yeah, I morally consider you, but I'm still going to grape you," though, like, you're clearly not morally considerable enough to not grape you. Like, if someone said that.
Look, moral consideration, if you like think about it as like a value in some type of mathematics, it can be like 0.001 consideration. Okay, but like my argument went from like the idea that something is morally inconsiderable, then you can unalive it, not the other way around.
Well, I mean, if you like consider like insects, right, morally considerable, it would be wrong to just kick a beehive for no reason.
Well, it depends on if you think the action by itself will be like the examples with the indecent actions that we talked about before. By the way, this is like the best live about pro-life and pro-choice I've ever been.
Yeah, I saw you in Kenna's live this morning. I think it was this morning.
Yeah, with empathy and oh, I know what's his name.
It was with Illis, I think. Yeah.
Yeah.
Wait, so
Yeah, I saw you in that live. Yeah, that was yeah.
I got a new argument, but it's really annoying because it brings it into like directly into theology.
well, I have like a really simple argument for it. That's just kind of like an umbrella argument, if you will. I don't know what else to call it. But
I think
just like simplify it to the very basics.
what would that be?
So, like, my standpoint on this matter is that, like, everyone should die.
Oh, stop it!
Okay, get out of here.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's gonna lead to great ends.
I don't need to
yeah,
hear
anyway.
I don't need to hear this nonsense.
Yeah, I mean, like the long and short of it, off the top of my head, would just be like, if it's wrong to intentionally, foreseeably, and there was another thing I can't remember it. Like intentionally, foreseeably, and knowingly deprive a human being of their future experience by ending their life. If that's wrong outside of self-defense.
Like the basic.
Is this animalism?
No, I know that's a place that it's gonna go. That's why I said it's kind of just like a really overall sort of thing.
Are you talking about their valuable entire future?
Wait, animalism, is that like what is
Like
that?
experience?
No,
That like a
there
being
this
is
argument
their
that is called
their
future
body,
like ours
basically.
argument.
So
So there is
There's
this.
that. It's kind of, that's why I said it's like an umbrella argument. It's kind of like it's deprivation, it's future experience, it's human being, it's like 100 different things wrapped into one really overall thing.
Yeah,
I would-
exactly.
so
this is
if
called like the future like ours
intentionally
argument.
I'm
Basically,
just trying to it's really quick. I'm just trying to remember all the words that I used when I thought of it, but whatever.
Yeah.
If intentionally, foreseeably, and directly ending a human being's life, or depriving them of their future experience by ending their life, if that's wrong outside of the case of self-defense, and abortion intentionally, foreseeably, and directly ends the life of a human being, then abortion is wrong outside of self-defense.
I guess my question would be like, does this also include the unalignment penalty? Do they have to be innocent as well, or not guilty?
Wait, what do you mean?
Would you find the unalignment penalty unjustified?
No, because like I said, outside of well, I don't know if you'd necessarily classify that as self-defense. But I
That's
feel
only
like
most
I feel like that
circumstances.
could fall under some sort of self-defense. But I'm not even necessarily gung ho for or against the unalignment penalty in the first place. I'm not super like one way or the other on it. I'm not against it, and I'm not for it.
Well, the churches support it.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, that's what I'm saying. I'm not like against it or for it. I'm just kind of like, it's fine how it is, but I'm not.
Well, you
Like,
should support
I'm not
what
going
the
to go
church supports.
martyr myself over like the unalignment penalty if it's okay or not. I'm just kind of
That's fine.
yeah.
We'll see.
I just have mixed feelings on it. That's all.
You should support what the church supports because the church is infallible.
No, she doesn't submit to Rome. Remember?
Whole other
another,
conversation.
another nasty Protestant. No.
I never said I was a Protestant.
Well, she doesn't submit to Rome, so there you go.
Well, whatever, dude. So anyway, I mean, even still, no. I mean, that's just like a simple argument on it without bringing that into it. Like I said, I guess you could classify that as some sort of self-defense.
Yeah, so I think your argument is usually called the future like ours argument.
To a certain extent. To a certain
which is
extent,
like
yeah, but it's not exactly the same. I never said the
Okay.
words future like ours. I'm just saying, yeah, it is a similar argument because it has
Look-
to do with experience in the future. So, yeah.
Yeah, this is exactly
just saying it's not the
future like ours.
exact
The idea
flow.
that you're no, like this is exact. So the argument is that you are depriving of an entity of a future where they have like those types of experiences and so on and so forth, right? And if it's like the future like ours, like we have also experiences and we have also like loved and have friends and so on and so forth. You are depriving of all of that richness and so on and so forth from this entity. Like why? That's basically the
Okay.
I love running like the future like ours argument or like the valuable future or the valuable future experience argument because I can make appeal to emotion when it comes to abortion. And they're always like, oh, that's an appeal to emotion. That's a fallacy. I'm like, it's an informal fallacy. Try again.
Well,
Wait, what are you talking about? Informal I know what an informal fallacy is. That just means it's a fallacy within your argument. Wait, so what's your... I'm so confused.
Yeah, so it's
So
just going to be the
before-
case. Like I can grant it, right? I can grant, or yeah, Thomas might be able to explain it better in words than
yeah,
I
you
can.
can probably explain it.
Wait, but if there's
So-
a fallacy
so
in your
for-
argument, that means you failed to reach the logical conclusion.
No.
Wait,
Yes,
wait.
it
Wait,
does.
what's the difference between the two again? I can't remember.
That is what it means, but go ahead.
I'll just explain. Usually, a fallacy or like a logical fallacy is just an inference that is like not reasonable to make. And a formal fallacy is usually talking about a form, right, of like a logical form. Like, for example, affirming the consequent. If you're familiar with that fallacy, it
No,
literally
that's not
has.
wait. Just to correct you really quick. Affirming the consequent is not a fallacy. Or wait. Did you
I promise you it is.
wait. Did you
I
say
promise you
affirming
it
the
is.
consequent? Did you say affirming the consequent? Holy shit, I'm stupid.
Yeah.
Okay, go ahead. Sorry,
Yeah.
I thought you
Look,
said affirming the
I promise
antecedent.
you it is.
I thought you said affirming the antecedent. Go ahead. I'm an idiot.
That's
literally.
cool.
Okay, go
So
ahead.
the-
Yeah.
This is like an example of
The
a
undistributed
formal
middle,
fallacy.
blah blah blah. Yeah.
No,
Those are
yeah,
formal.
Sure, no problem. You're right, exactly. So those are formal just because you can formalize them in logic. Like it's literally if A then B, B therefore A. That would be a
It's a
fallacy. and you can
structural
formalize it.
fallacy. Is the long and short of it.
Right, exactly. A structural fallacy, exactly. An informal fallacy is like appealing to what to the masses. What did you say? I'm sorry, I forgot.
Oh, I just
Ad
mean
populum.
emotional
Ad
Ad
appeal when we're talking.
populum, appeal to emotion, appeal
Yeah,
to
when
morality.
we're talking about, like,
yeah,
abortion,
exactly.
yeah.
Ad populum. Ad populum doesn't really have a logical structure. It's just like like let's say something that we wouldn't want to reason with because we know it can lead to really easily to false conclusions, such as and then I can give you some examples about the past of how old people thought about something and then it would be came to be false.
Yeah, ad populum is basically
that
it's
would be the
right
difference.
because a lot of people think it. It's like, okay.
Right. Exactly,
Right,
yeah.
but I mean, the thing is, since we're talking about abortion, right, it's still going to be the case that we're taking the life of an entity, and I can say it's really sad to take the life of another human entity, right? And even though I am committing a fallacy, I can grant that I'm committing an informal fallacy, and it doesn't like strike against me in like a formal debate.
Oh, I
Wait,
just
how-
googled it.
Wait. How does that not hurt you in a formal debate? That's what I'm trying to get.
Yeah, because it logically follows that any time that you unalive a human entity, this thing could be a sad action. Even like what we're talking about before, where you can have moral consideration to something and still justify unaliving it, right? It's still a sad action. I can acknowledge that it's a sad action, but my argument itself is not going to be the basis that this is a sad action.
Okay, I
How
just
does
googled it.
How does it follow logically if the logical reasoning used to reach the conclusion was a fallacy? It really doesn't matter if it's informal or formal. Formal is just structural, and informal is like something that is within the argument.
Yeah, just rhetoric at that point.
I just googled it. So formal
Well,
fallacy.
yeah,
An
but then-
example.
Yeah, go ahead, Protect.
Example. I just googled it. It's like, let's just say. Okay, let me Google. We'll find. Okay, I'll be right back.
Yeah, no, I'm just saying I don't get what it's still a fallacy, whether it's formal or informal. Like you can grant that it's a fallacy, but that's also
here it
granting
is.
that the conclusion wasn't logically reached.
But the conclusion can be logically reached. Like I said, as long as you're not grounding your entire argument that you shouldn't kill something because it's sad, or you shouldn't unalive something because it's sad, right? That would make the conclusion illogical, right? But if you have like a logical structure to your argument, and then add the rhetoric that this is a sad thing to do, anyways, right? Then it's just going to be the case. I can grant that's a informal fallacy, and it doesn't strike against me in a formal debate.
Oh, I
I
found.
thought you were saying like as part of your argument, and I was like, dude, if
Well-
it's part of your argument, it's a fallacy. But yeah,
Yeah.
if it's something you're saying, on the side, whatever. Okay.
So I looked at an example of a form of fallacy. So it says, if it is raining, right?
The
ground is wet. Yeah. So the ground is wet, therefore it's raining. That would be a form of fallacy because there could be other reasons that the ground is wet. That'd be an example.
Are y'all
Well,
talking
yeah,
about deductors?
affirming the
or
consequence.
what's happening?
That's affirming the
Yeah,
consequence. That's a formal fallacy.
Yeah,
So
exactly.
it's not even
We're-
informal. That's formal.
By the way, just to be clear, this is what usually people like. This is like the an exemplar of what is a formal fallacy, which is
Or it's
just
like
something
all dogs are mammals, all cats are mammals, all cats are dogs. It would
Yes,
be
exactly.
like undistributed middle. And people
Oh,
do that
okay.
all the time.
I see. I get it now.
absolutely.
Yeah, but the one you're talking about is like affirming the consequent. Because they're saying the ground is wet, which is the consequent. They're affirming that. And then therefore saying the antecedent is true,
Yeah.
which is not the case.
There is.
We're so.
Yeah.
I'm so like intrigued. Tell me more.
Yeah. Candy is an intellectual titan. I have a
Oh,
question
leave
for
me
Tom.
alone, Protect.
Yeah, I have a question for Thomas. Is back to like the subject thing. So there's a few of these YouTube channels, right? Where they're like carnivorous plants, right? And they get like millions and hundreds of thousands of views, right? So what they do is like they test like a Venus flytrap, like can it like eat all of these insects, right? Like as fast as it can, right? Or other types of bugs or other types of carnivorous plants, right? So like do you think it's like wrong for like a person to like feed a Venus flytrap, like an insect to a Venus flytrap for like clicks on the internet?
Wait, are you asking this to Thomas?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. I wouldn't think that would be morally impermissible.
Wait, can you say that again?
I wouldn't say it's morally impermissible. No.
Impermissible or permissible?
No, I don't. I think it is morally permissible. I made a double negative when I said I don't think it is morally impermissible. So let me just
Okay.
eliminate that. It is morally permissible.
Yeah, because I was like confused. Like it would have enough value, right? But like you would still be able to like in that case, there's really no reason to like kill the insect. You're just doing it for like clicks on the internet, basically.
Yeah, but for example, I wouldn't destroy a beehive, right? Like, because just for the funsies. I think that would be morally impermissible. Right?
What if somebody was feeding bunnies to lions?
That would be a gray area. I don't know.
I mean,
I wouldn't like to see. I wouldn't like to see that. But
well, in principle, like, how would they be any different?
in principle, well, one can say that like I value bunnies much more than I value flies. I guess.
Well, I mean, yeah, sure, but then you have to give like a distinction between like why you value a bunny over a fly.
is it like a threshold of
Well,
sentience?
you will. You don't. No, it's not even about the sentience. One can say like bunnies are more aesthetically pleasing, and I hold to aesthetic, pleasure to be valuable, right? But like forget about like all of that. One can also say I'm particularist. I just perceive the value in the bunny much more than I perceive the value in the fly.
What if
And I don't
somebody
have any
says?
type of a particular principle.
I mean, what if somebody says like an insect is more aesthetically pleasing to look at than a bunny? What if someone thinks a bunny is grotesque to look at?
wouldn't you think that then they would have the opposite position than what I have?
Yeah,
And you
yeah.
would say, yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. So it does make sense. If someone would say to me, I think flies should be preserved and because they're like so beautiful, and bunnies should be eradicated because they're so ugly, and I don't know, the fluff just doesn't make it for me, right? You would expect them to have the opposite position than what I have, right?
Yeah. Or they're both grotesque, so you can kill the both of them. Yeah. All right. Anybody else? Hello, Latrice.
Oh no, it's you.
Yeah, it's me. Yeah.
What up?
Hi.
Did I miss anything? Was there anything crazy like earlier on Tone Locks? Oh my God, were you there for Tone
I
Locks?
was there for a little bit. Yeah, I was there. Yeah.
I
Oh my
couldn't.
God.
I like.
Look on TikTok.
Yeah.
Is this like the person with the red hoodie?
Yeah,
and
yeah.
He's like an animated.
He wears a black
Oh my
hoodie
God,
mostly.
I know him for like 10 years in Discord. Not 10, maybe like less, like 7 years at least from Discord and Clubhouse, and I have no idea what he's doing here.
Yeah. Sorry.
What's happening there? There's definitely some crazy people like that Shannon person. I've seen Shannon before. She's unhinged.
What's funny is that Tone Lock had said. What is that?
Pure vanilla bean paste?
No, we have enough pure vanilla. No, so we went like she went nuts, and he said she was never like that for the last couple of years that he kind of knew her.
Oh, that's
Is he
weird.
still using?
Was
Is
it
he still
Shannon-
using the
Shannon
trademark
Powers?
of being like a?
Do we need some?
He's still using the trademark of being like a virgin and a 40-year-old.
Yeah. I think yeah.
Like, because he always started the conversations with us like that. Well, I wouldn't say always, but he did use it as a trademark of his.
I like it. Yeah. All right. Anybody else? Anybody else want to take a stab at Candy's intelligence?
Wait, who's Candy's? What does Candy? What's her stance?
She's pro life. She's like the best debater we have.
Oh, I have no contentions.
Now.
Yeah.
Whatever. Protect, leave me alone.
What is your position, Candy?
Johnny, don't even start this.
She's an anti-natalist. I'm just kidding.
No, I'm just.
Oh,
curious.
no.
I don't wanna, like,
Get out.
I wasn't gonna critique your view. I was just.
I'm anti-abortion. I mean, in short,
Obviously.
unless you want the argument.
W anti-abortion.
Well,
Yeah.
yeah, I know you're anti-abortion, but like, what's your view?
I have like a million different arguments, but I feel like the most simplified one is if intentionally, directly, and foreseeably depriving a human being of their future experience by ending their life is wrong outside of the case of self-defense, and abortion intentionally, directly, and foreseeably ends the life of a human being, then abortion is wrong outside of the case of self-defense. Which, I mean, I don't even think there's a case where it's necessary for self-defense. But they always like to go, what if the woman's life is in danger? Blah, 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 blah. So that's just going to be entailed anyway if they want to try to bring it up.
That's why she's an intellectual
Without
titan.
getting into all that, they don't even know what situation it happens in. So that's just its own whole kind of stupid conversation. So it's just going to be entailed in that.
It's kind of like the view, I guess.
Candy, I have to say one thing. You don't need to say intentionally and also foreseeably. If you are not foreseeing, what you're doing as an action, that is the goal of the intention, then you are not doing anything intentional.
What do you mean?
Look,
In
I
what
want
case
to
does
go
it apply
outside.
to?
Yeah, so for example, I have like the intention to go outside, right? So for that, I am, opening the door and stepping out. That would be the action that I'm about to perform because of my intention. And I foresee myself being outside after doing those actions, right? Now, if I don't foresee that, there is no intention to begin with.
Okay, that's fine. I
let's
see
just
that as a vacuous truth. What's the relevance?
no, like just like a small criticism that you don't need to be redundant about, like the.
Oh, I get what he means. It's kind of like
intentionally
yeah.
and foreseeably.
Yeah, I get what he means. It's like basically this is the same thing. I get what he means.
The intentionally and foreseeably are the same thing.
Well,
I think that's what he's
No,
trying
it's
to say.
not the same thing. If something is intentional, then it is foreseeable. That's what I'm
Yeah.
trying to say.
Yeah, I get what he means. I get what he means now.
Yeah, no, I mean, I agree with that to a certain extent. It's just a matter of like trying to cover all the bases.
Wait, I don't think they're interchangeable. I think intentional can be foreseeable, but foreseeable it's not intentional.
Yeah, I try to include both
I
for
agree,
the sake of
yeah.
simplicity, but you never know what's going to be simple to one person.
Yeah. And also not only, but that's fine.
Okay,
But
but
no,
I mean,
I
okay, fine.
understand.
I mean, I'll
What do you
change it.
think about-
I'll take foreseeably out of it, and I'll just say intentionally. Now, what's
Okay,
the critique?
cool. Yeah, but my critique would be like, sorry, would it be like a future like ours type of an argument, or maybe I'm mistaken? That you're like depriving
no,
the
not
future of
necessarily.
experiences?
Not necessarily. I mean, like, not. I mean,
Yeah, go
obviously,
ahead, sorry.
future experience is going to be included in the view, but I wouldn't necessarily say it's a future like ours argument.
Are you just stating that like the deprivation account here is going to be like why it's wrong to like just unalive somebody like prima facie?
Yeah, and especially by ending their life. I
Okay.
mean, like, because then people will say, well, what if you don't let somebody go to the school they want to go to? Or what if they reject your job interview because that's the future you wanted? It's like, that's not what I'm talking about, you know? So that's why I say, it's, you know, it might be
Yeah,
wrong.
that's
to a
my
certain
problem.
extent. That's why I'm just including, you know, excluding the future experience by ending their life.
That's my problem. That's my problem. Like, I don't want to interrupt. Like, whenever pro-choicers, right? Whenever they critique against a future like ours, saying the mother also has a flaw, it's not really a critique against it.
Yeah, exactly. And that's the whole self-defense, if they want to even bring that up, which I don't even think there's really a case that would be pragmatic, but I could still say, okay, fine, you know, that's entailed in the argument. It's not really going to go anywhere they should just get to choose.
Yeah.
So I like more the future like ours argument because I think it avoids some of the problems that I think might arise from the principle that you gave. Like, for example, if we can imagine a fetus that is growing in the mother's womb, but it will never go out, never will be developed. It just takes the resources, you know, the food resources from the mother. It makes feel pain and so on and so forth, and it just stays in the mother, right?
Yeah.
Like,
That's
I
why
think the
it's
intuitions
survival
would say.
future experience. No, it's okay.
Sorry?
I was just agreeing with you. That's why I said deprivation of future experience, especially by ending of life.
Oh, so deprivation of future. Okay, so look, it is the future like ours argument. Deprivation of experiences.
It's entangled into it, but it's not the same thing now.
Okay, I have a different problem with that one, which is that we can imagine, for example, a magic, like a ball, a basketball, and some magician comes to it and just zaps it. Now, what this zap did is basically making some type of a, you know, countdown that after 7 months or 9 months, for the sake of the story, it will form into a human with consciousness and experiences and so on and so forth, right? Now, taking that ball and just like erasing that magic, right, that magical countdown, usually people would say that wouldn't be morally impermissible, right? That wouldn't be like something that I would think, oh no, that's like, you shouldn't do that.
Well, I think it's a false analogy. I also think that it would be morally impermissible. Like if I had a lottery ticket worth $1 million and you threw it, you know, shredded it up or whatever, and you were like, well, it wasn't $1 million yet. It's like, yeah, but it was going to be. Like, I still don't think that's morally permissible,
No,
but I also
it's
think it's a false analogy. But go ahead, sorry.
Yeah, but like it's right now. Yeah, but like the ticket is presently worth $1 million, right? You can replace the ticket with like a penthouse,
Yeah,
and
it's
still say,
presently worth
well,
that.
this. No, but like the future like ours is not saying it's presently having those qualities. Obviously,
No, but
right?
it's
It will
presently
say
in a state that it will have future. So it's the same way that the ticket itself
exactly.
is worth $1 million, but I still have to go
Present.
cash it in. But it has the same value. So that would be the same point, that even if it hasn't got to this point that you consider it morally valuable, it still presently has the capacity to be that as long as it's not disrupted.
Well, Thomas, I mean, can you buy a penthouse with a lottery ticket? Like, is that even possible?
Yeah, I know that's the other thing, but
No, that's not a good one, because let's just suppose I have a watch that I don't know, like worth $1 million, and also a penthouse that I want to buy, right? And it would be totally reasonable for the person that sells the penthouse not to accept my watch as a payment, right? In the same way that it's totally reasonable for him not to accept my lottery ticket as a payment. Actually, it's the funny thing is that the lottery ticket would be probably more reasonable, because he will just go to the agency. Sorry.
But whether it's a watch worth $1 million or a lottery ticket worth $1 million, it has the same value before it's actualized, right?
I mean, look, if somebody were to rip my
the
paper,
actualization.
look, if somebody were to
Sorry.
rip my winning lottery ticket into pieces, I would punch them in the face. Like, if I actually won $1 million and that was a ticket and they ripped it, like, I don't care if it was actualized or not.
It
Like,
wasn't $1 million, it was a ticket.
yeah, it was the winning ticket.
Yeah, like, okay.
Yeah, but the problem is not. Look, the problem here is that this thing, $1 million worth $1 million, and a lottery ticket that can be replaced with $1 million also worth $1 million. Maybe a few dollars less because you need to go to the agency, but let's just suppose, for the sake of the argument, that it also worth $1 million, right? In both cases, they have the value because of their worth. Right?
It's almost
Because
as
it's
if
not equality.
actualization doesn't change value.
Yeah, it's almost as if Candy's saying it still has the moral.
No, it's not even
consideration.
in virtue of the actualization, it's in virtue of the worth. Now, in this case, the worth is because of the actualization, but it not necessarily be. Like, for example, with the penthouse example. I don't need to I actually don't want to actualize. I like the penthouse as it is. I don't want to sell it. But it's still worth $1 million. It's not in virtue of the actualization.
Yeah, but you would still be like, in this case, you would be, and like what Candy's saying, right? And Candy, if I'm strawmanning you here, just let me know.
You're
Right,
good.
you would still be like just depriving this individual of this $1 million. Like if you just shredded up this $1 million lottery ticket, you would still be depriving this person of, like, I don't know, future interest, I guess.
Yeah, but look, you can. There is this like a weird type of thing going on with like time. Like, for example, if I take, I don't know, $100,000, right? And I can. Sorry, can you hear me? Because my earphones died.
Yeah, I can hear you.
Yeah,
Okay,
we
cool,
can
cool,
hear
cool. Sorry. Yeah. So, like, for example, you can say that, well, I can invest my $100,000, and in like 40 years, it will be $1 million, or even 30 years, it will be $1 million. But no one will say, if I stole $100,000, I stole $1 million, right? Now, because currently it doesn't worth the $1 million, even though it will have this future value if you are investing it. That's not the case with the lottery ticket, because it's currently holding the $1 million value.
Well, I would,
In the
I
same,
would, yeah, I would say that, like, if you knew, right, that this $100,000 was going to turn into this $1 million, and somebody stole this $100,000 from you, like, I don't think it would be like absurd to say that, yeah, they robbed you of $1 million.
no, it
Yeah.
will. No, it is absurd. Like,
I think
obviously,
what
I
Johnny
don't
is
believe that
saying is,
because.
sorry, I was just gonna
Sorry,
say, I
go
think what Johnny is saying is they do have foreknowledge, or whatever, for the sake of the hypothetical, that you would have invested this and made $1 million off of it, or that this
Yeah.
100,000 would have somehow turned into $1 million, because you do understand that a fetus will turn into a human, or a baby with experience, or whatever, right?
Yeah, but like a 100 again. If you're like just
So I'm saying,
invested
I think
in
what's
the
being said is,
Nasdaq,
for the sake
or-
of the hypothetical, you know this is the future of this thing.
Yeah.
No, I know. I'm saying,
Okay,
like, even if you know. Yeah, I'm saying, even if you just know the future, that in 40 years or 30 years you will have like 10 times the money. when you invest it even like in the S&P or like the Nasdaq or something, right? If I steal your money right now, even if you were about to invest it, no one will say, "Oh no, you took away $1 million from me." Like, I don't actually think it's like reasonable, but that's
But
fine.
like what would be the what's
Maybe
the
we have like totally different intuitions. Like, would you say to the cop, "Hey, cop, like he stole $1 million from me"?
what would be the absurdity though? And so what if we just like died on that hill and be like, yeah, like you like yeah, you did, you stole $1 million
Look,
from me.
Yeah, you could just
every,
say
every,
like you were going to the next day you were going to invest it into a company that was really successful or something like that. You know, like you knew that's what it was going to turn into, and the person who stole it knew that's what it
yeah,
was going to.
this is why I said maybe like the time duration here would be relevant, because you can say, for example, if you invested it and like tomorrow it grows into $1 million, and you know that for sure, right? Then might be you have like some type of an argument, but maybe
Yeah.
it's sorry, go ahead.
Well, sorry, I don't want to interrupt, but maybe we'll just stipulate. Let's just say this money that they was. Let's just say it had like a terminal disease. Let's say they had cancer, and this money was going to be used for their treatment, and you stole it. Now they don't have the money for the treatment, and they end up dying. Like, do you see a problem with that situation?
Yeah, absolutely. I would say it would be more immoral to steal from him, right, the cancer patient, than from, like, let's say, a billionaire, right? Money can also be like, it's like the relative value of money. That like $50 worth much more to a peasant than to a king.
Well, I mean,
But
we might be able to
or
agree
to
that.
someone that has like those types of conditions that are critical, and those who don't have critical conditions. Sorry.
No, it's fine. Sorry, go ahead, Protect. I was just gonna say
No,
that.
that was my point. That was my. We're
Yeah,
gonna we're gonna make our last piece, and we're gonna move on to the next person because they joined.
yeah. I was just gonna say, like, we can agree. We could probably, all of us here, probably agree that, you know, $50 means more to somebody with $50 in their bank account than it means to a billionaire. But I still don't. I mean, it's still gonna have to go back to how that justifies abortion. But anyway, yeah. Go ahead, Protect.
Yeah. All right. I think we have a new person. So, Danny, what's your age? What's your stance?
Oh, hiya, I'm 52 and I'm pro-choice. But I was actually I was just drawn to your prompt there, your pro-life versus pro-choice, and it says that you were a voice for the voiceless. Are you vegan?
No.
Right. Okay. Cool. That's all I
Okay.
wanted to
What
know.
what are you trying to prove there?
Well, I was just wondering which voiceless you were speaking up for. Really, that was all.
Well, obviously humans. I don't see what's the problem.
Right. Okay.
Yeah.
That's cool.
Yeah. I live in the Sahara Desert, so I can't eat plants. There you go.
Wait, Danny, did you say you're pro-choice?
Yes.
Did you say yeah?
Yeah.
Okay. Can we ask you the same question if you're vegan, just to get that out of the way?
Yes.
Okay, there we go. We got it out of the way. We could continue. I was just curious.
Mhm.
So why are you pro-choice?
Yeah, I was gonna kind of yeah.
Why am I pro-choice?
Yeah.
Because I think every situation needs to be taken on its own merits, and you can't have a blanket decision about everything. There's no black and white.
I mean, you're just asserting that to be the case. So, like, why is it justifiable?
There are a number of reasons it's justifiable.
Yeah, to give us a couple examples.
There are pregnancies that aren't compatible with life. There are social and economical reasons for abortion. I think it's wrong to force a woman to deliver a child that she can't physically, emotionally, and financially support. I think that's putting the child into a bad situation.
So killing it is better.
There are certainly a number of children in horrendous situations that I think would probably be better off if they weren't here. Yeah, actually.
Why are you
Wait, so
you can
sorry,
go.
go ahead, Protect.
Why are you speaking on their behalf? Why don't you let them decide that for themselves?
When a child is in a situation where it is living in filth. It isn't fed, it's beaten, it's abused, it's neglected. Doesn't get that choice, does it?
Wait, you're killing them prematurely. Like, why are you making that decision ahead of time? Like, there's people who are. You think people are stuck like that forever? You think they can't get out of that situation?
I think being forced to be in that situation as a child when it is emotionally and physically damaging to them is, yeah, I don't think it's fair. I think that there are situations where abortion is the right decision.
Yeah, okay,
Yeah, but
protect. Sorry, go ahead.
sorry, no, I was gonna say go ahead, Candy.
I don't want to. I was just gonna say protect. Usually, what I ask is why potential suffering is sufficient to end their life, but present actualized suffering is not.
Yeah, that was definitely the question. Yeah, you can go ahead.
Because you're saying this child in the future might suffer, right? You know, they could end up in bad situations, and I think all of us here agree with that. And you know, it breaks all of our hearts. A lot of situations that children end up in, including you, I can tell. But I guess the question, yeah, including you, that like, you know, that children end up in bad situations that we don't want them in. So we can
But
tell
can
you
I
care,
also
you
add real
care
quick,
about
Candy?
that too. Yeah, no,
Can I-
yeah, go ahead. I
was just gonna also add that, you know, we're talking about, you know, any sort of potential in suffering, but here's the thing though, is that suffering at this point is subjective, and we can't really predict anyone's future, and there's no such thing as living life without suffering at all.
I think a woman who is a drug addict, who is homeless, who finds herself pregnant, the best thing that she could do for that child is to have a termination. Yeah.
Wait, not all children who are born into that will have those bad situations. You can be born into a super rich family and still be abused by your parents.
Yeah, and be like super. That actually happens a lot too.
Like, do you know the Menendez brothers, right? Like you know the Menendez brothers, right? Their story, like their parents are rich, and you know, I'm pretty sure you know the case. So just because you're in this super rich environment doesn't mean you're not going to suffer, right?
It's like that study that showed paraplegics have the same level of happiness as people who won the lottery.
Yeah, I heard about that. Yeah,
because it's more about inward things than outward, but that's kind of, but yeah, that's a whole different thing. Sorry, go ahead, Danny.
Sorry, I think a woman that finds, you know, like I said, you know, a woman with an addiction who is homeless, I think for her, she is making the right decision to have a termination. Yes, absolutely. And you know, I know there's the argument about continuing with the pregnancy and delivering and having a baby and being able to put it up for adoption, etc. But you know, the care system is broken as well. You know, and putting more children into that situation isn't making it any better.
Adoption.
But like I say, I think every case needs to be judged on its own merits. You can't have a blanket, yes, it's wrong, you know, yes, it's right, or no, it's wrong.
Wait, can I re-ask the question, and then I want to let Storm go. Hey, Storm.
Yeah.
I was just going to say, so the question I asked before, because you're saying these children could end up in bad situations, which I don't want to speak for other people, but I believe everybody here, you know, that breaks their heart about the situations children end up in, and we can tell you feel that way too. But the question would be, why do you think that ending their life would be a, you know, sustainable solution, in the same way that, you know, children are currently going through that, and I don't think you would say ending their life would be a solution. I don't want to speak for you, but I can assume from, you know, you seem like a normal person, so I would assume you wouldn't.
Somebody that's already here.
So you seem like a normal person, that you wouldn't say we should end their life to prevent that. So I think the question would be, why would potential suffering be sufficient to end their life to prevent it? But actualized suffering, when they're actually going through the thing you're trying to prevent by ending their life, but you can't end their life when they're going through it. But you can end their life if they might go through it.
Because for me, it is a fetus that has had no life experience you know, ultimately it's down to the mother and her choice for what is best for her in her situation. And whether
Okay.
that means, you know, because for me, it's not a child. It hasn't, like I say, it's got no life experience. It hasn't been born. It doesn't know it's here. It doesn't feel pain. It's not conscious. You know,
That's
So if
all of
that's
those
the
that's
things.
case, though,
controversial.
then who are we to deprive it of that?
Well, I mean, you're just making a bunch of assertions there. Number one, how do you know if it's not conscious? How it doesn't feel pain? Like, how do you know that?
Well, I was gonna say it's getting into.
When the termination's carried out, the child does not, the fetus does not feel pain.
I know, but then there's also SEPA and things like that where born people don't feel pain. But I said I would let Storm go. We can turn this into a whole conversation. But Storm, if you
Yeah.
still had something that you wanted to add, go ahead because this is gonna turn into a whole conversation of its own.
Yeah, no, that's fine. I was actually just wanted to know what her argument was when she first came
Yeah.
up.
Someone has a really bad echo.
Is it me?
No, I think it's Danny.
Is it me?
Probably. Wait,
I think it's
someone.
Donna.
I don't know where it was coming from, but now it's gone. Yeah, Storm, you can go ahead.
Yeah, so Danny, if you don't mind just like give me your argument real quick, that'd be great. If you don't mind.
I was just saying that I think every situation should be judged on its own merits. I think there are medical reasons for termination. I think ultimately the person that we should be centering on is the mother and what is right for her situation, her circumstances. A fetus doesn't feel pain, it's not conscious, it's got no life experience, and therefore it actually ultimately to a certain stage of pregnancy, it has no consideration. It's what is best for the mother.
Okay, when do you grant moral considerations?
Sorry?
Yeah, when do you grant moral consideration?
In what respect? At what point during pregnancy, do you mean?
Yeah, sure.
Well, in the UK, it's legal to seek an abortion up to term for certain medical conditions. I don't necessarily agree with that. But equally, women have an anomaly scan around 20 weeks, at which point they get told, you know, oh, everything's fine with your baby, or actually, you know, your baby has a condition that isn't compatible with life. Quite often those babies are very much wanted, and that decision to terminate is extremely difficult. But I believe that the parents are making the right decision for that child, for that child's siblings, for themselves. You know, there are a lot of consideration that goes into termination. Generally, it's not something that's just done, you know, flippantly.
Okay, so there's like a whole bunch of things that you just threw at me. So one, you're okay with the eugenics. Okay, great. Number two, you're not really sure when you grant moral considerations. It's on a legal basis. So like if by law, like you're not really sure. Like let's not plead illegality, right? And I mean we can talk about legality if you want to have like a pragmatic conversation. That's fine. So again, like when you say like grant, like there's first of all like at 9 months there's gonna be zero reasons for medical termination. They're just not.
Yeah,
What they're
no,
going to
I don't agree with that. I'm just saying that
Right. Okay, great.
is possible in this country.
Okay, so when we talk about like when I ask you, okay, so like besides what your country says, can you give me like a time where you give moral consideration?
I think when a mother has had an anomaly scan at 22 weeks, I think she should be given time to consider her decision, you know, a week or 2 weeks. So I think the cutoff date should be 24 weeks, which is actually about what it is.
Okay, so just to be clear, you're saying that 24 weeks when they have like some kind of like subjective. Sorry, my fetus is in the background. So you're saying that around like 24
Oh,
when they
goodness,
have
girl.
Cool man, here. Okay, here you go. So you're saying that at 24 weeks, you understand that at 24 weeks, according to the WHO as well as the NIH, fetuses have like some kind of like subjective understanding, right? Like a first person subjective experience.
Right.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
they would be able to feel being aborted.
No, they don't feel being aborted. They don't, because their hearts are stopped prior to abortion. They give them feticide, a direct injection into the heart to stop the heart.
So you're saying, let's say this, like, let's say we have like a newborn sleeping. Can we just like inject this into their heart so they don't feel it? Like, would that be permissible? Can we unalive them at that point?
I've already told you my stance on that. Yeah.
Yeah, at that point you're just special pleading in pregnancy. Yeah. So again, like, so you have to understand. Okay. So I'm explaining to you at 24 weeks, they have what's called sentience at this point. Okay. According to the NIH. It's a subjective first person. Yeah. It's a subjective first person experience. Okay. Okay. So they can feel this injection. Okay. So again, I'm asking you, would this,
go on.
Yeah, so I'm asking you, would it be permissible to do the same thing to a newborn because they have that same sentience, and like, or in fact, like you, right?
So
like if you're sleeping,
they can feel the injection. Yeah. So have you vaccinated your children because they can feel the injection?
You're not.
You're just like,
you're not killing them.
No, but they don't feel being
Hold on,
dead.
Danny.
They feel. Her point is they feel the injection. So
no.
inject
This isn't my point. Hold on, Danny. To be clear, you said in the beginning they don't feel anything. They're born like until they're born. Yada yada yada. And I just told you no. This is actually not true. According to the NIH, they're sentient beings. They're able to feel this pain. And even if it was a case that they couldn't feel this pain, like let's say they had like SIPO, which is a medical condition where you can't feel pain due to the nerve tissues, like would it be permissible for us to unalive them?
At what point?
Yeah, at any point.
Well, I've already told you what my stance is. Abortion is acceptable up to 24 weeks.
Sure, but you already said prior to this that you value some kind of like pain experience.
Putting a needle into a baby, so you're saying that because they might feel that prick, that's wrong.
Okay, Danny, I'll break this down for you. Let's say we have a sleeping newborn. Okay, they're just sleeping, they're having a grand old time. Can I just like take this long needle and inject it into their heart? So their heart stops beating. Would this be permissible in your view?
Why would you do that to a baby that has been born? I've already said
I don't know, just because my intuitions tell me it's okay. I want to.
And I've already told you that an abortion at term isn't acceptable, so why would injecting a child with feticide after it's been born be acceptable?
Yeah, sure. Go ahead and tell me what's the symmetry breaker between a 24-week-old fetus and a 40-week-old fetus?
The fact that is when her mother has been told that her child has got a condition that is not compatible with life and that a termination is the right decision for her and her family. That's the point.
Oh, so like eugenics.
Not about the fetus. It is about the situation around that pregnancy, and each one should be taken at its own merit. I have supported many women through terminations.
I don't care about anyone's experience, to be honest.
Through medical terminations, for medical reasons, through social terminations. I've supported people who have had stillborn babies. I've had.
You don't care. You don't care. You don't care.
I've supported women who have had to stay in the hospital for a couple of weeks waiting for their babies to arrive.
Okay, I already told you I don't care about your anecdotal experience, and the host doesn't, and nor does anybody else on the panel. I'm trying to test your logic. You're being extremely illogical and fallacious right now, right? You're saying that. Okay, can we unalive? Let me just ask you this: at 24 weeks, if we have a normal a typical healthy fetus, at 24 weeks, can we unalive them?
If it is what is best for that woman in her situation, yeah.
Okay. So when do you grant moral consideration?
Well, once it's alive and it's here.
What?
Hold on. So you already said that you don't agree with 9-month abortions, but now you're saying that.
I don't personally, but I don't think it's anyone else's right to make that decision for somebody else.
Okay. Listen, Danny. When you say I don't personally, but other people can do it, it almost sounds like this to me. I don't personally grade people, and I probably wouldn't do it. But if other people want to, I mean, I can't really tell them not to. That's what it sounds like to me. So
Right, well,
Danny,
that's if you're going to go grape somebody, that's going to cause physical and emotional pain to somebody that has
hold on,
life experience and is sentient. A fetus does
hold
not
on.
have those things and does not actually have any
Okay,
rights.
I'll ask you this.
And
Okay,
during a
Danny, let me ask you.
pregnancy,
Hold on,
during
let
a
me ask you
pregnancy
this.
and a delivery, the mother's
Okay,
life
Dan,
is
Person
always
is
put
still
above that of the
yapping.
child.
Like, wait,
they're
let's
so
storm.
bad. I'm literally, I'm not like I'm sitting here eating. What are these called? I don't even. These some kind of
Well,
candy. I don't know.
well, you can
And I'm
ask.
like, I'm not even pressing her hard. I'm not even pressing her. I'm like literally dumbing this down for
Yeah,
her,
and I'm just
and she
telling
still
you
can't
my,
understand. Danny,
I'm
Yeah,
telling
wait.
you my
I mean,
stance.
the
I'm
experience.
telling
You
you
can
my
just
stance.
ask you. Just okay.
Yeah.
What about graving someone inside of a coma? They're not experiencing anything. So like, what's the problems there?
Oh God! Why are you pro-lifers all so bloody crazy about this situation?
You
At
know,
the
it's
end of
very
the day,
ironic.
At the end of the day,
Wait. It's very
listen. At the end of the day, you don't.
okay. I'm just gonna ignore you because you keep yapping. It's very ironic that a person who literally stands 10 toes down supporting eugenics has any ground to stand on. Oh, why are you pro-lifers asking these kinds of questions?
At
You
the
really
end of
said
the
it's
day,
fine to kill a child because it has these deformities that are going to cause it problems in life. Like
no, not
you,
necessarily problems
Can
in
someone
life.
tell me what eugenics is?
yeah,
It's
it's the
choosing who gets to live and who doesn't.
no right. It's the decreasing of undesirable traits in the population, right? So if this is what you deem that is undesirable, right? It is permissible for the mother to kill it. So is it like what constitutes as a what constitutes as incompatible life? Do you think a mother can kill a child with Down syndrome?
well, protect. It doesn't even matter to her because I asked her if it was the case that this baby was like 25 week or 24 weeks and it had no like genetic abnormality. She said it'd be up to the mother if they want to unalive it or not. So like it doesn't even matter what it is. And okay, Danny, let me ask you this quick question. If a mother delivers a 24-week-old fetus, and again, at 24 weeks, there's about a 70% chance of survival outside the womb. Would it be
No, there's
permissible
not.
for like somebody?
Not for 24 weeks.
Yes, in fact, there is.
Not without months and months of medical intervention, and you're
Sure,
probably
yeah,
going to end
but
up with a child. You're
oh, so
probably
now
going to end up with
hold
a
on,
child
hold on.
with
Yeah, so
lots
Danny,
and lots
so
of
Danny,
deficits.
like, do you take it to be the case that you don't believe in like the medical like health system? So like, if somebody needs months and months of rehabilitation, we shouldn't do this.
I supported I looked after a lady one day who was going to go into labour very prematurely, and she was told that if she wanted
Care about your animal experience, Danny. I don't care.
Yeah, but at the end of the day, that's what life is about. It's about
No, it's not.
experience.
It's not debates.
Yes, it
Listen,
is.
Danny, it's
And
not because I can't tell if you're lying.
ultimately, my point, my reason for being pro-life and the reason I get involved in these discussions
You're
is
not
because
pro-life.
ultimately
Not pro-life.
it's none of your business.
Not pro-life.
That's the point. You have no right
Why
to
does
tell
it
me
need to
what
be
I should
anybody's
do with my
business
body.
why does it need to be anybody's business for anybody to speak about it? Like, what the heck?
No, what I'm saying is you have no right to tell me what I should be doing with my body. That's the point.
Yeah. I'll really test this theory. Do you think a mother should have sex with her son, her adult son? Do you agree with that? Do you agree with consensual incest?
No. Well, whatever. Down to them, innit? If they want to get it on, let them get it on. If they're not hurting anyone and they're not making procreation, then yeah.
Yeah, this is the absurdity of this view. You think, consensual incest is permissible. There you go. I think
I thought she was I thought she was against you. She was for like she was okay with eugenics now.
Oh yeah, I guess if they do concede, they can kill the child in that case too. She probably would support that
Yeah,
too.
probably the best way to go, isn't it? Yeah. Anyway, night
What
time.
am I listening to right now?
Goodbye, irrational person. Be gone. I think she just said that. Wait, I think she just wait a minute. I think she just said that just to be consistent with her position. I don't think she actually agrees with incest.
No, I don't think she really believes that. No, there can't be no way.
Like imagine a woman walked to her and she was holding hands with her son. Oh, I'm in a sexual relationship with my adult son. Like I don't think she would like just. I don't really care. All right, anybody else? Not Storm is intellectual titan. Hello?
I was like dumbing it down for her too. I felt kind of bad.
Conversations before.
What did you say?
Well, before this woman came, I think we had really good conversation before.
I try to keep them civil. I try my best, but then people like to hijack my lives.
No, I understand. I understand.
I also try to keep them open panel, but then again, people, don't have any self control.
No, I understand.
Yeah,
Does anybody here
who's
life
that?
or pro-choice? Who's
Who's
pro-life
that?
and pro-choice in them?
Sorry.
Yeah, I said, is anybody pro-life?
Everybody else is pro life, but Thomas. Yeah.
What's your
I think I'm the only one here is pro-choice.
What's your stance?
I'm No, I'm
No?
pro-choice.
Sorry. Yeah. Sure. What's your pro-choice argument, though?
Well, I think entities that don't have any type of a mental state or a history of mental states don't have a moral consideration, and I think you can fill up the blank.
So you value mind?
I value mental states. If the mind is required, yes. It's actually it doesn't really necessarily mean that I require mind, but just for the sake of the story, I can say yes.
But just like some kind of like psychological profile.
No. Like I'm saying, it's not necessarily means that I even value minds. That doesn't. My argument doesn't entail that. So, for example, one can say it's a necessary condition for value, but it's not a sufficient condition for value. Does that make any sense?
No, it makes sense. Yeah, it makes sense.
Yeah, cool.
So like, why do you give moral consideration at this? Like, what's your argument for that?
Well, my argument will probably be some type of an abductive argument that it would explain our moral intuitions the best about what delineates between entities that we will not give moral considerations and what type of entities do give moral considerations. Right? For example, a stick, I can like kick it and punch it or like stab it. We wouldn't say that would be morally impermissible. That's not the same thing if I do it to a human. Right, like it's in front of me and I'll kick it and stab it. Most people will say, yeah, that's not permissible, right? Now the question is like, what is the property that delineates between the two? And I would say the fact that one has like a mental history and the other one doesn't. And I'm not entirely sure if there are like some type of a counterintuitive counterexamples.
I only heard like 30% of that because I see this for yelling in the background. So I am so sorry.
Okay, yeah, no problem. I'll wait. It's all good.
Okay, thank you. Sorry.
At the end of the day, the only rational people here are the Catholics. Catholic Gawk understands.
Absolutely. Catholicism.
Yeah. I might be hosting a formal debate next week. I'm thinking about it. I'm trying to schedule it.
I will absolutely follow you. I like this live. Please make more lives like that.
Yeah, I'm trying to. I'm trying to host some. So yeah. I try to keep it civil. I think this format is the best way to convince people or really challenge people's beliefs. So I try to keep this simple.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, absolutely. If she comes by and I can't speak, just tell her, well, my argument is that it is the best explanation to our, intuitive delineation between what has and what doesn't have. And then we can discuss like specifics.
All right.
I am back, but unfortunately, I do gotta get going. But I'm gonna go ahead and give you a follow, Thomas, because I would like continue this conversation. I know it sucks, but I just realized that it's 8:00 and my kids are raising heck, and it's a school night, so I gotta get them to bed. But
family first, debates later. Yeah, absolutely.
Sure. But I give you a follow, so hopefully I'll be able to talk to you another time. But thanks for having me up, Protect.
Thank you for joining. Thank you. I might have to do
Anytime.
Oh, Agemo, please come up. Can you invite him? because
Oh, I
I
think
do
I saw
want to
him. Yeah,
explain,
please come up.
because I do want
Mel.
to explain to him. Go ahead.
Mel, come up, please. Mel.
Yeah, I'm the
Yeah.
intellectual Titan. Hello, I have arrived.
Yo, yeah. So I look. I couldn't. Just before we talk about the arguments, my man, let me just talk to you because I cannot talk to this other guy. I thought it was horrible. I didn't even ask him to do something crazy. I just asked him to talk slower, right? And to be honest, I don't think you actually tracked what he said. Later on I tracked what he said because he literally talked slower. But then I couldn't respond because he already kicked me. In regards to the argument that I am being contradictory, because I will not deem this scenario to be moral, is what I already explained before. Actions can be towards something that doesn't have moral consideration, while still being immoral because of the nature of the indecency of the action itself. Right. Then I gave, for example, the argument that the example of let's say like a Schmeck's doll, right? That we wouldn't say that it has any type of moral consideration. We're not considering the doll, right? But we are still thinking that like at least some of us will still think that it would still be morally impermissible to have Schmecks with that doll. Right. Now we can make it more grotesque. We can say
I don't disagree.
we can make it
more.
Wait, one second. We can make it more grotesque by saying, well, let's suppose it is it looks like a 6-year-old and it's very, very persuasive and so on and so forth. And we can make it more and more grotesque as far as we can. I don't need things to be that grotesque to make my point, right? But the exact same thing applies, for example, to his example. What the witch does, right, it's still morally impermissible just because of the nature of the action, not because of what it does to the entity, right? Because I would still say it's morally impermissible. I would still say it's morally considerable.
Isn't this just gonna be like so? The thing is when you say this, I'm assuming you're not a Christian, right? Or you're not a theist? Are you a theist?
I prefer not to. Like we can talk about that later, but just assume that I am a religious person, okay?
Well, so the thing is like if you say like an entity, right? Like I guess not an entity, but an action is immoral, right? You have to ground that, right? So like we could say that like depriving a human of experiences, right, is immoral.
No, forget about the grounding. Okay, go ahead. Sorry.
Right. So, but like you just made the assertion that it's not immoral to do because the entity has moral consideration, but then what would be the reason that it's immoral? Like, why is this action that he gave immoral?
We can continue that line of thinking, but just before that, I just want you to appreciate one thing here, which is it is totally fine for me to say that his counterexample is immoral while still saying that the entity doesn't have moral consideration, right? If you grant me that, then you are granting me that I'm not inconsistent. Now, then we can discuss why I think those things.
Well, I think the why is going to be extremely important as to whether or not I grant this as a not
because because I can say this is what I think and I don't have any other explanation, right? Now, if I don't have any other explanation or any other argument or so on and so forth, it would still not mean that I am contradicting myself. And this is what I tried
wouldn't the entailment
to do before.
Sorry, I was just gonna say, isn't the entailment just gonna? Yeah, you could say that like your sentence is not contradictory, right? But I think the entailment, right, is gonna be contradictory.
No. Look, I'm saying let's just stop, like where I said I don't have any further argument or any further grounding, right? Just here, just by that, me saying that, it would still be consistent with my view, right? Again, just granting the position of moral consideration and the action being indecent. Now, I would say that the action is indecent regardless of the entity, right? One can say it would still be an indecent action regardless of the entity. It can also be a totally, morally neutral, object. It would still be morally indecent and therefore morally impermissible. And I think this is the only thing that I wanted to say to the other person, but he didn't let me talk or finish, or even just slow his speech in order for me to understand. Like, you probably would agree with me, but it's hard for you to say because some of them are your friends. But I think you do hold to the idea that they were treating me really wrongfully.
I think Kenna, yeah. I don't necessarily think Mac was. I think Mac has a very short temper, and so if things don't make logical sense, right? That's just how he is.
Mac is something else. Mac crashes out at literally everybody.
Wow.
Yeah, but I'm trying to make a conversation. I have a conversation. I'm not trying to
Well, that's why I don't have him on the panel anymore. Because he's unhinged. He's not welcome in my lives anymore.
Okay, I'm glad. This is why when you invited me back after you kicked me, not you, but him, I literally just wanted to talk to you, not even to him.
I've been having a lot of...
Sorry, go ahead.
I've been having a lot of contentions with him. A lot of problems in the pro-life communities. Why are you paneling this guy? It's okay, fine, I'll block him. I still see him around. What?
I don't think Mac is all that much of a. I don't think he's a bad guy. I think he just has a short temper.
I'm not gonna. It's not the time and place for it, but the things he does, you can't be associated with him. I'm not gonna say on here. I'll probably say elsewhere, but the things he does, you can't really be associated with him.
I think. Look, I don't know if he's a good or a bad guy. I don't know who he gave charity to in his life or how much he loves his mother. The only thing that I think about him is that he's a terrible interlocutor, as most of those people in those panels, including the host, by the way. I think she's a terrible interlocutor as well.
Yeah, I think
also has just like having conversation norms. They don't have that. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, she does have a short temper. I obviously do agree with her position, obviously, but I think she kind of has. She's young, and she has a short temper.
Yeah, I mean, I the thing is, I even scolded her, right, Thomas? I do believe that she was being originally bad faith with you, and I did scold her. You saw that.
No,
Mac, though.
I know.
I just.
I'm saying
the
with
problem
him, you
is,
also should have said to him, "Hey, man, you're not letting him speak." Or, "Hey, man, I think if if English is his fourth language, and you're speaking 200 words a second, it's a reasonable request for you to just slow down for 1 second."
Yeah.
Right.
I don't know.
I mean, look.
Yeah.
I make no concessions. I know Mac is a dickhead, right? I know he's an asshole. But
okay, that.
For me, it's whenever I listen to him speak, whenever I talk to him, right? We disagree because he's a Muslim and I'm a Christian, right? We vehemently disagree with theology and whatnot, but I'm able to have really good faith conversations. But it seems whenever he gets on panel, man, he just seems to have a very short fuse. I can acknowledge that, but I think when you're in this space for a long time and you hear the same arguments and then people break what I would consider panel etiquette, I can't understand why he gets really frustrated. I've told him, but I tell him all the time, man. I'm yo, you need to calm down. You need to chill out. I don't even know if you were there, but I did tell him. I was hey, man, we need to just chill out with the insults on people. You know what I mean? I try to hold him accountable.
Most of his, I don't want to interrupt, but most of his crash outs are not justifiable. He has a very short temper.
Look, I think if it was only I and Agemo talking right now, I think he eventually would say, yeah, but he didn't act, well. He was a complete a-hole all this time.
I can acknowledge. Well, I don't ever say that Mac is a nice guy. I mean, I think he's a nice guy. I think he has a good heart. But I understand that he crashes the fuck out on people. You know what I mean?
No, like for example, yeah, but like for example, he said like it is a literal. You also said that it is a literal contradiction, and he also said that it is a literal contradiction. And I'm like, hey, I really want to explain how it is not, but like you're not letting me up. I'm trying to,
Yeah.
because after and now I explained, and it seems like you got it that it's not really a contradiction, or that it's not necessarily contradictory. You could also ask then, wait 1 second, and by the way, I'm just like giving you an argument. You can also say then, wait 1 second, if actions can be immoral towards something, while this something be morally inconsiderable, why can't this apply to the fetus, right? The fetus, maybe it is morally not considerable, but why killing it, unaliving it, still be justified, right? You can ask that question, which will be totally fine question to ask. And by the way, this girl, what's her name? Protect.
Kenna?
The one that I talked to.
Kenna.
Oh.
Oh, wait, it's
Jenna?
Kenna. Yeah, that's the host, right?
Yeah.
The
Kenna. It's
one,
gonna be
like,
Kenna.
the pink one. She literally just asked me that in, I think, the fourth, after the fourth sentence. This is how progressive, like how conversations progress really fast when you just listen and try to, accommodate the speaker's, let's say, disadvantages. So, such as, for example, with the with the language stuff.
Well, that's why I asked. Like I don't necessarily grant this idea that it's not contradictory yet, because I feel like you have to give the argument as to why you give this entity that doesn't have any moral consideration, like why you would take an act that, how do I fucking explain this? Like,
No problem. I'll just tell you. I understand the question, and the idea here is that because the action by itself, regardless of the entity, will be indecent action, right? Like for example, you can say that like schmexing a schmex doll, right, is an indecent action regardless of whether or not the schmex doll has this type of a moral consideration or not, just because of the action, not because of what it does to the entity. While,
but wait, where's the wrong maker?
Stabbing.
Though? Like, what is the wrong maker in having schmex with a schmex?
No,
doll?
I'm saying, look, it doesn't matter. Let's just suppose that this is what you think. Let's just suppose that this is the case, right?
Right.
One can have that position. My point is that one can have that position. I myself don't think that. I don't have a schmex doll. I do think it's a little bit icky to do it with a schmex doll, but I will not judge someone for that. But I'm saying, just like for the sake of the argument, let's just suppose that you have that position, right?
Okay. Yeah, I mean, I suppose if you have the position, right? But that doesn't really like. I feel like it doesn't move the conversation along, right? So like if you hold
no,
to
it does.
Okay. Well,
it does,
the problem
because
is
what
like,
he said.
Go ahead.
Go ahead.
Go ahead. Sorry. No, you go. You go.
No, you go ahead.
No, you go ahead.
Okay. It does move the conversation because he gave a particular counter example that's supposed to show some type of an absurdity or inconsistency in my position, and I'm saying no. I can hold to the position that the scenario is immoral, while still holding to the position that it is okay to unalive entities that don't that are not morally considerable, right? I can say it is okay to unalive, but it is not okay to schmex, right? One can have that position.
Yeah, I mean, the problem is I suppose you could have the position, right? But
okay,
the problem is like I just fail to see like the reconciliation that this isn't contradictory. So like for me, when I think of like contradictions, right, I feel like if you hold like a standard for it's like it's just gonna be a P and not P, right? That's what it's gonna be. Is just I just don't understand how you can hold this standard as far as like.
Look, what would be the P and not P?
Give me a moment to think.
I can tell you what he thought would be the P and not P.
Okay.
What he thought would be the P and not P would be that this action is morally permissible. Sorry, this scenario is morally permissible, right? And the scenario is morally impermissible, right? Now, the scenario is morally impermissible just by scenario. Like I'm looking at it and I'm saying, no, that's morally impermissible. And the idea that this, my view would entail that it would be morally permissible, right? That's what he's trying to do to the P and not P. If you disagree, you can tell me.
Yeah, I think that's. Well, okay, so when I think of like arguments, right? I think like necessarily things need to be kind of intuitive, right? So like if you hold a logical, if you hold a logical statement, right, saying like, okay, so like for me, I grant entities within the womb, like I said, you know, entities that are incapable of deploying consciousness don't deserve moral consideration, right? But then I look at an entity that, like, let's say objectively doesn't deserve moral consideration, like even though, like, let's say I don't know if you can say objectively, but like let's say like a book, right? A book is not going to be the same, like there's not going to be the same argument whether or not like it's life, is it not life? It's going to be just like an inanimate object, right? But so like when I look at this and you say, well, the book can't deploy consciousness, right? So therefore, it's not like an entity that's deserving of moral consideration. Like, what would be the moral argument about using a book as like a Schmeck's toy, right? Because it deserves no moral consideration. Like I think if you don't give an entity moral consideration, then there can't be a wrong doing to said entity.
Okay. Just for the sake of the, actually not for the sake of anything. Do you think it is okay to schmex a book? You can say yes. I'm not too much against that.
I mean, I don't think there's a moral
from a Christian
argument
worldview.
against it.
From a Christian worldview, there is an answer to this. Like any sexual activity outside of marriage is a sin. So like.
Well, yeah, but I'm not using I'm using more of a secular worldview, right? Like if I ground my morals in God.
I'm asking you as a person, not as like a master debater, Giga Chad, TikToker, like whatever. I'm asking you like as a person. Do you think that would be?
Well, yeah, that's going to be. Well, no. So like I wouldn't see it as permissible from my worldview, but like I ground myself in Christian ethics, right? But like from a secular worldview, I have yet to hear an argument why it would be impermissible to do such a thing. Like why is this entity that has no moral consideration whatsoever? Like why would we care about any kind of action done upon it? You know what I mean? From a secular worldview. From a secular worldview.
I guess from a utilitarian perspective, you can find. I guess from a utilitarian perspective, you can find some way.
Yeah, absolutely you can. You can say, well, it gives pleasure and it doesn't harm anyone, right? Including the book.
Yeah.
So right. You can have that, right? But look, you can also say, look, it's an indecent action. I find indecent actions to be morally impermissible, or at the very least having like some type of negative moral value. May be permissible, but like not desirable, let's say. And that's that. I think the same way that in that scenario, I don't want to repeat the scenario because it was grotesque and I don't like grotesque thing, but also I'll
it
just
was indeed
refer
grotesque.
as. Sorry?
Yeah, it was definitely grotesque. I will say that he did use very foul language.
Yeah. So I'll just from now on I'll just refer to it as the scenario and that's it. I will not expand as I didn't do it before. So I'm saying one can just say the action itself is an indecent, regardless of what type of an entity, whether or not it is morally considerable or morally inconsiderable entity. Sorry, 1 second. And that would be totally consistent with the view that I had before, which is about the unaliving, not about the schmexing.
Couldn't it just be said though about the entity within the womb that I find that this action is going to be like indecent?
Look, usually indecent just means like something that is just schmexual, but you
But
can
just
do you can do that. You absolutely can do that. But you can say, well, I also find that action to be impermissible regardless of the moral consideration that you have, because the action itself is bad, right? Not because of what it does to the entity, which is like I I want you to appreciate a little bit. Once again, I want you to appreciate a little bit on how less intuitive it is, right? Because we are devaluing unaliving because of what it does to the entity, right? Where we are
okay.
like, what does it mean to unalive? And it is not being like, what it is to mean unalive and not make it the entity to be not alive, right? So
Right.
you have to consider the moral value of the entity in order to unalive. So if I'm saying there is no moral consideration, then like almost by fiat or by implication, you can do that. While it is not the case about the graping. Well, it's not the graping, the schmexing even.
Well,
Well, I mean, even if go ahead, protect.
you can say, because I actually I have questions for both of you, but you can go ahead. They're like
I was just gonna say,
they're two
well,
completely unrelated.
what if you just remove the idea of like the grotesque act, right, of the graping or the schmexing, right? But like, would you say that like this robot that did this thing, right? Would you consider that to be morally permissible within the confines of his
No,
argument?
no, I wouldn't say that, because I do find it to be an indecent act.
Well, no, you said the like, let's say the graping of the entity within the womb, right, is going to be indecent. Which I can grant, right, if it's going to be just like indecency, right? But you couldn't actually say that the act of using said robot to terminate the life within the womb 30 seconds prior is going to be wrong, right?
Sorry, I don't understand.
Okay, so what he was trying to test from what I understand, is he's trying to test the entailment, right? So if you say that like mental states, right, are going to be what grants an entity moral consideration, then you would have to also state, at least in my opinion, I guess you would also have to state that if you were to like have the ability to determine exactly when an entity is going to deploy conscious or deploy these mental states, that even if it's 30 seconds before an individual will deploy this mental state, it would still be morally permissible to take its life, right?
I'm not sure. Like if it's before it deploys mental states, then it's okay to unalive.
Yeah, even if you knew within 30 seconds that it was going to, like, you would still say that this is morally permissible, right?
If it's going to, then it's morally it's like morally permissible, right? To
Okay,
unalive.
yeah. See, I just don't understand how that argument is intuitive at all. Like, I
Wait,
just don't.
what?
Like, if you,
Wait. Can you just like give me the intuition pump? And maybe I like did just didn't listen. Can you just repeat what you said? I'm sorry, man.
yeah. So, like, I'm just saying, like, well, we kind of asked two questions, but as far as like intuitive, I would just say something that kind of like comes, I guess, like, well, I don't know. The way I use it, intuitive, is just like kind of like it kind of flows, right? I guess that's what I would use. Like, it flows with
No,
it.
like
Kind
I just
of
feel like
logic.
it's unintuitive. I mean, like it just feels icky to admit that this is what I want or this is what I will allow.
Okay. Yeah. So, like, I think that it doesn't seem to like. I don't know how to explain it. Like, I guess maybe I'm just like at a loss of words when it comes to like how I view
Look,
your stance.
okay, let me just like talk about for 1 second about the meta. I was talking to this girl, which I still forgot her name. Can someone please tell me, like the one that was
Kenna with a K.
Kenna wasn't the blonde girl that I talked with you?
Wait,
Yeah,
are you talking
that
about
was
the host?
I'm talking Protect. I was talking to her the entire time at the beginning. Who was she?
Yeah, I think
What?
it was Kenna. If you're talking to the host, yes, that's Kenna. Yeah.
Who's
No,
the
he's
host?
talking about on your panel. He's talking about on your panel. Protect.
On your panel, Protect.
Oh, her name was Candy. Yeah, that's her name.
Candy. Yeah. I'm sorry. From now on, I will just talk about her. I'm not talking about Kenna. I love Candy. Okay. So, for example, with her, she gave me such a good like counters in a like so fast, and I had such a great like discussions with her. Like for example, she said like, "What would be the difference?" Well, she said what would be the parallel, but I think she meant what would be the difference between the Schmecksdoll example and the fetus example. And that was like a good question to ask. I actually think it was a good question. And then we continued the conversation into talking about like the value of actions by themselves and the value of actions by how it affects entities
Well, that's
and
because
so or like others.
well, that's because
And that
Candy
was
was a
like
debater. Yeah.
sorry she's a good interlocutor. Forget about being a debater for like why people cannot be people here. So
Well, I think debater is just going to be synonymous with interlocutor.
Yeah,
I
that's
don't
what
know. I don't know what it is.
well, you think that empathy and this other Mac guy are good debaters, but I think that you
Well, I
still
don't
find
think
them
that,
weird.
I think I don't think the point. I don't think the purpose is to like, oh, I beat you, haha, I'm smarter than you. Like, I don't like those kinds of people.
Yeah.
Yeah, when I say that they're good, I don't necessarily think that they're good debaters. I think that they're just very knowledgeable, and I think that in a majority of cases they're able to point like logical inconsistencies with people's views. That's all. That's like my only thing that I hope.
I think it might seem that way, as it seemed to you that way before I could talk, when they kicked me or interrupted me or just tried to insult, which they are doing very, very frequently. But I don't think this is actually the case. And then we were talking about indecent actions and decent actions, and then we were talking about, okay, so let me give you like a counter example. Let's suppose this baby didn't have, like the fetus doesn't have mental capacity, right? Sorry, like any type of a mental state, and then it got born, right, outside of the womb, and it still doesn't have a mental state. Would you still say it's okay to, like it would be morally permissible to unalive it, right? That's like probably much better question than whatever he said to me, right? Because I would need to be consistent, and I would say yes. And by the way, I did say yes, right?
Yeah, but I think that kind of.
By the way, that yes
your
is
main
not an
contention-
easy bullet to bite. It's not an easy bullet to bite, right?
Is your main contention just with the fact that he used like an indecent hypothetical?
No, it's not only the indecent hypothetical. It's also the fact that it's very easy to counter. It's like in both cases, it's also easy to counter. It's also like doesn't show any type of a contradiction, and also his like vulgarity and his like bad.
I would agree. I would agree because I've asked this question to some people. Like whenever they bring up rights claims, right? I never make a rights claim ever, or I try not to. I don't necessarily think a dead body has rights, right? You can agree or disagree to that, but I would still think it's wrong to have sex with a dead body, regardless if it has. What?
Sorry. My bad. Sorry.
But I don't even think anyone would say, yeah, because it harms the body. This is why it's bad. Being on the ground, eaten by mugs, right, would harm the body.
Yeah.
But we wouldn't say that would be morally permissible. It's not in virtue of the harm. It's in virtue of the action itself being indecent.
Yes.
Well, yeah, I think it's because there's like extrinsic, I guess, extrinsic,
here's the thing.
values.
Well, I age mode. You can just in a vacuum. You can just get rid of all these things. So you can say like if you live in let's just say you live in a tribal society where you worship this deity, right? That like demands you to have sex with corpses, right? So like the extrinsic reasons are like gone in that case.
Sure.
Because you live in a society
that was
that
like the question. 'Cause I had this question the other day, right? So like, is an action immoral because of the properties around it, right? So like the wrong makers, or is it wrong just because like something is objectively wrong?
Depends
You know
on the
what I mean?
action.
And
Depends on the action.
well, I know, but that's the thing is like so like if we talk about like let's say like the one that I thought of was like grape, right? Like I think there's like
Fuck
almost
no.
there's no ability to justify grape, right?
Mm-hmm.
But then somebody gave me the hypothetical was like, well, if the world was going to end and then everybody was going to be locked in cages and then everybody would be graped, would it be okay to grape somebody in that instance? And I'm like, well, I guess so, but I feel like that doesn't actually move the conversation along. You know what I mean?
It was
Like we could say in most cases, well, would it though, right? So if you didn't do that, right, it's going to lead to the individual being graped regardless.
Wait, well, I'm not a utilitarian. Like, I don't like those types of questions. Like, I'm not a utilitarian. That's the thing.
Right. Yeah. I mean, I agree with you. Like, but that's the problem. Is like when I'm looking from like a secular worldview, I just struggle to answer these questions. Like, if I ground my morality in God, then it's easy. But
So, do you remember the small condescending seminar that Elist gave you about different moral theories?
Yeah, I was there. Yeah.
Okay, so Elist said that there are like three main rules of thoughts, but with like normative ethics. Consequentialism.
No, I know. Just so we know. Like, I actually do know what he was talking about. I'm not that unintelligent, but I was just I was being extremely pedantic with him.
Yeah.
It's not about being unintelligent. Some people don't know. It's super fine to not know. Like
no, but I'm saying like
I understand if you know. I will never
just
judge anyone for not knowing those things.
Like I'm very willing to admit when I don't know something. You know what I mean? But I was just being really pedantic with him.
I know into them.
'Cause
I know them, but I just haven't read into them. Like I know what deontology is. I know what consequentialism is, but I just haven't read the literature about them.
No. So
sorry for interrupting.
The
Go ahead and
interesting
give your
thing-
point, though. Sorry, Thomas.
Okay, absolutely. So when you were talking about, like, for example, right now, you are giving some type of a counter example that you would say, well, maybe in that case, I would choose the grape, right? Because so much good, right, or so much harm will be prevented, or so much good will be achieved, right? Then would be, so some people actually have some type of an fusion, some type of a hybrid view of two.
Yeah.
Right? So there is something that is called a threshold deontology.
Yes.
Have you ever?
I know
Okay.
what that is.
Yeah. Some are also more particular.
The funny part about that is threshold deontology was really got me kind of interested in philosophy. That was the start of my, I guess, philosophy, because I was so confused. Somebody has said it, and then I looked into it, and that led me down. Obviously, you look into one thing, and then you got to figure out what deontology is, and then you got to figure out all these other like ethical worldviews are. You know what I mean?
Yeah, like usually I like to say it like, consequentialism, good because of the consequences. Deontology, good because of the rules. Virtue ethics is good because of the virtues. Virtues by that usually means like personal characteristics of a moral agent. That's it.
Right.
This is all that you need. And then wait 1 second. But if it's deontologically bad but consequentially good, enter a hybrid view. Right? And then you can like go deontology and so on and so forth.
No, yeah, I definitely understand that aspect. This is why, like, whenever I think about philosophy, man, I really struggle to try to ground like anything like philosophical within like a secular worldview, because the moment that you start parsing things out like this, you know what I mean, with like a really truly deep level of like understanding, I feel like it gets into like nitpicking like literally at the most finite details, that I feel like the most logical answer is going to just be like an entity, like an intellectual entity, giving us like a moral set of rules, right? I just don't understand how like I just don't. Like, for me, it's just super hard to grasp like secularist philosophy to the point where like you can make moral prescriptions. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, does that make sense at all?
I understand.
Yeah.
It does make sense, but I think the confusion here is between like the grounding relation, because there is this like I think there is this type of a jump between metaethics and normative ethics. You know, you can be consistent by being a subjectivist, an objectivist, I don't know, like a command theorist, even what you call it, quasi-realist, which is not even like a cognitive view. By the way, I can explain cognitivism if you want to. Let's do it later. But you can still hold to all of those positions and have totally different normative views, right? Like, for example, I can say I evaluate good and bad by the consequences. I'm a consequentialist, let's say. And I can still say there is no objective moral standards. I'm saying like this is what I evaluate, not what, and there is no like something outside of what I think that will ground that. Or you can also say I am a consequentialist and it's because God told me to be a consequentialist, right? And I'm a realist. So those two conversations can be totally separate. You don't need to, combine the two.
Yeah. Okay.
No, I see what you're saying. Go ahead, Prey.
All right. Finally, I can ask both of you my question. I'm going to ask Mel the question first. It was based off because I was talking to you some DMs, right? I think what you should have said is like a physical body, because like the definition of body is like the physical structure of an animal or person. So like I don't see how one could have bodily autonomy if they don't physically exist. Because bodily autonomy, like literally the body is a physical entity. That was just my
that's what I said. So I didn't ask him necessarily for the definition of body, but I said when we're like referencing like bodily autonomy, right? This is going to be specifically talking about the idea of having autonomy over one's physical body. This wouldn't be like we're not talking about like an ethereal entity out there, like the body of like like a piece of work, like a body, like the body of math, right? We're talking about like in the sense of like abortion, right? It's going to be just the actual tangible body, and he just didn't understand. I think he was just being extremely pedantic, just to be like an annoying, Phil. I think he's an actual Phil, bro.
Yeah.
Because I think that's the only way that you would ever like once you start to be like super pedantic over like the terminology, body, when we're talking about bodily autonomy, I think you're just like that's in my opinion where I think like the term Phil bro comes from.
Yeah, I would agree.
I don't actually think that Philist was a Phil bro. Like, one can be very like philosophically equipped and also even use sometimes. Or maybe we have like a different conception of what a Phil bro is. Because
wait, who are you talking about again?
Illus.
Yeah, we're not.
No, it wasn't Illus. It was that Jinx guy.
Yeah, there was a guy that came up before you, Thomas, before Illus came up. They basically they made the bodily autonomy argument, right? And then we started getting into like semantical argument about what the fuck a body meant. And I was like, I don't even know how he got into the conversation, but he was like, oh, but can a body exist outside of existence? And I was like, what the fuck does this mean? Like, why are we talking about this? This doesn't. And that's what I mean. He was being a Phil. I don't think necessarily Illus was. I think Illus, what he wanted to do was he wanted to goad out a response from somebody that he knew was not as intellectually knowledgeable on philosophy, so he could get a response. And I fell in. I fell for the trap. I did. I'm not afraid to admit it.
Yeah, look. I think it's like empathy was like the exemplar of a Philbro. Like, I would bet $100 right now if anyone in the room understood like one sentence of what he said. Like, I would literally bet that.
He's an interesting guy. I'll just say that. But I want to ask Thomas this question. I'm pretty sure that he's been asked this before. What do you think about the Adriana Smith case? If you even know what that is.
No, I don't.
So what happened was this woman was 9 months pregnant, 9 weeks pregnant, and she became brain dead, right? And she was kept on life support, and a child was born, I believe, at 32 weeks. I can't remember. What did you think in that scenario? Since the mother doesn't have a mind because she's brain dead, she's dead. Like, what do you think in that scenario?
I don't know. Hey, Candy, almost my favorite person on TV.
Thomas, what was that? What was that? Yo, hold on. Wait, hold on. What a dodge. What a dodge. He was like, hold on, I don't want to think about this.
Product. I'm sorry. Can you just like repeat the scenario? I'm really sorry.
Yeah, so this was a real case. This woman was 9 weeks pregnant, and then she was brain dead. I'm not going to share the whole details. That's the important part. She was brain dead, and she was kept on life support. Like, what would be?
But the fetus kept growing inside the womb?
Yes.
Okay. I'm here. Okay.
And it was delivered at 32 weeks. I think he's doing fine right now. But like, what would you think in that scenario? Like, if the mother she's brain dead, so she's dead. Like, she has no more mind. Like, what would you think in that?
Okay. I would think that's an okay. Like, let's suppose like what I think should the doctors do, like, bring about the child or not. I would say yeah. I do think that.
What would you say?
Like, I think I would say that I do think that the doctors should bring about the child. Or the baby in this case.
Even like let's just say they didn't have a mind before. Do you still think they should like try to continue full term or viability?
Yeah. Well, once again, if they don't have a mind, like the baby doesn't have a mind, because I thought like in the very late developmental stages, you do have a mind.
No, I'm just saying like prior, because she was 9 weeks pregnant.
Okay, let's suppose it was like just 1 week. I would say yeah, just like terminate the baby. If it was like how much you said 32 weeks, then I'll say no, keep the baby. It's just basically on the scale.
The point I'm getting at is like in this scenario they would both not have a mind, right? The mother's dead. And let's just say it's at 12 weeks, right? Let's just say at 12 weeks it doesn't have a mind. You think they should continue the full term and allow the mind to come?
Oh, no. Then I would say no. Well, it's not yes and not no. It really depends on a lot of different factors. Like, what type of a future it will have. Like, will it be like a hassle or will it be like a very easy operation? So on and so forth.
I'll just keep it as consistent as possible. Like
when you're saying, let's suppose it doesn't have a mind, it just changes the scenario for me.
Yeah, like it doesn't have a mind yet. It's just currently it doesn't have a mind. The mother's dead, but she doesn't have a mind either. It's going to have a normal life. It just doesn't have a mind yet.
No. Forget about the baby's life. Look, because it's like a real scenario. I thought to myself, well, in reality, what would you advise the doctor to do, right? And I would say, no, keep the baby. But then you're like, okay, let's just go back for a second to the hypothetical ones and say, well, let's suppose he doesn't have a mind. Then I would say, like, I don't know, you can, I would say you are permitted to terminate the baby, right? And that's it. And then, like, then if you ask me, okay, what you should do? Should you terminate or should you bring it about? I would say it's probably really depends on different factors. And if those factors don't really matter, I would say then I'm like neutral, like dead on, in the middle, neutral.
I mean, because the part about a lot of pro-choicers would say, well, like the harm, the reason why abortion is permissible is the harm being done to the mother. But like the mother's dead, so like what harm would be happening to the mother? Like there wouldn't be like a rights infringement if you even believe in rights. There wouldn't be any infringement. It's just the mother's dead, and you have this other being just growing. It was a very controversial case.
It is an interesting look. Maybe I should actually think about this case more. Maybe I'm like missing some important parts that I didn't think about. So
It's
let me
not
think about it more.
unprecedented. Things have this like have happened before. It's not unprecedented. And the thing is, we don't know. Like she could have wanted this for her child to continue to full term or close to full term. And that's one thing that's like being left out. We don't know her decision. She could have wanted her child to live. And
Absolutely. Yeah. Oh, okay, go ahead.
yeah.
I went to a different live when they asked, who would you save if you could only save one, your spouse or your kid? Right now, let's suppose the spouse is the mother of the kid or the father of the kid, depends on the gender of the one who you are questioning. And I was shocked at people's reactions or answers, because I thought it would be totally the opposite. All the men said, I expected for the men to say, I would protect my spouse, right? And all for the women to say, I would protect my kid, right? But it was literally the opposite. All the men said, I will protect my kid, I'll save my kid, and all of the women, or not all, but most of the women said, I will protect my spouse.
Wow.
And it was super weird because I didn't expect that like to be like totally 180 reversed.
Well, I don't really answer those questions. They seem very trolley problem-esque. Seem in that type of territory. But I think I have very qualms of that because it seems like they think a child is expendable. And like I would just say I flip a coin. I don't really have a decision. I wouldn't make that decision. I'm gonna be able to make that decision. But like I mean I wouldn't view a child as expendable. So like I wouldn't have an answer for that question.
Look, wouldn't the best argument just be the child, because the child has more of a life to live?
Yeah, so you can have like different arguments, and they all gave different arguments. Look, I'm a moral intuitionist, okay? I truly believe that intuitions are really good guides to our morals, and we don't want to bite a lot of bullets and so on and so forth. So my answer was straightforward. When we bring about a kid to this world, we have a moral obligation to protect it no matter what, right? It doesn't really matter what is happening. I think this is true to the father and to the mother, right? This is like a precious little gift from God that is brought about. Now you have the protection status. And this is probably the most important role that you have. Now, then people said their stuff like, and by the way, you can argue it pragmatically, but they said, well, the women said, I will save my spouse because the kid, although sad of him dying, I can make more kids later on. And he, presumably my soulmate, right? And why wouldn't I do that, right? It would make no sense. And one-parent household, and they were going to one-parent households, where like the kid has more, it's more likely for him to do illegitimate things, right? And to fail at school and abuse drugs and so on and so forth. So they had so many arguments for the why would I save my husband and not my kid, which is like insane.
I have critiques against that. I have a lot of critiques against that. I would say
can, but the only thing that I sorry to interrupt you because I want to say something. The only thing that I was saying to myself, yes, those are all good arguments,
but it is still your child. That's all the thing that I was like thinking about. Sorry, go ahead.
I would say like, okay, you could just find another spouse then. Like, what if they're not your soulmate? Like, you can just find another spouse. Like, okay, I could just find another father. I could find another wife or another husband.
I
Like
think it just makes more intuitive sense to save the child. Like, I don't know. Like I run down all this. Like I was running down like all of the, I guess the arguments that could be made, and it. I guess if you like weighed the pros and cons, I still feel like there's just going to be more pros in the idea of saving the child, right? Like it's. I don't know. That's just my thought process. Like
I would want from my wife to save our kids and not me.
that's what I was thinking. Yeah, like, what would I want?
Like, yeah.
Well, the thing that gets me with the Adriana Smith case is that we don't know what kind of paperwork she signed prior to going into the hospital. I have 3 living children, and I've given birth in 2 different states. And every time I had to visit the emergency room for one reason or another, they always made me fill out like some sort of like a will or something, like my wishes in case anything went wrong. And one of the questions always was if I wanted extraordinary measures to be taken, to save my life. And the other question is whose life would I would like to give preference, the child or me? And in my case, because of my beliefs, I always put my child. So we don't know if the doctors were legally bound to any sort of paperwork like that.
I see.
And the states I gave birth in were in Utah and in Jersey.
I see.
Yeah, so we don't know what sort of legal obligations the doctors were held to because of her wishes.
I see. Did she even have? I mean, that's the thing. Did she even have these wishes? Oh yeah, I wanted to ask Catholic that question. What you were going to say, Ems?
Yeah, we don't know if there were any sort of paperwork like that were filled out by Adriana. I mean, my youngest was born in 2018. I don't know if that's still like an ongoing practice, but I did fill it out whenever I visited the emergency room with all 3.
Yeah. Yeah, Catholic. What do you think of? Have you heard about that case?
Is Catholic in? Oh yeah.
No, I haven't heard about it. I have like seen some mentions online, but like I haven't read about it yet.
Yeah, it was a pretty big deal. Pro-choicers had to scrape the bottom of the barrel to use it. Pretty big deal.
So yes, marriage can work with someone of opposite worldview.
Oh, makes you say that?
Because I am in a marriage with someone with an opposite worldview.
Oh,
And we make it work. We hold boundaries and we respect them and we live together happily.
So
And
when
we
I
have
saw statistics
pretty
about
deep, like opposite views.
so
But
when I
do you
saw
know?
statistics,
Wait,
I
what were
feel
you,
like I
what were you
don't
gonna say?
know. Wait, go ahead, Thomas. Sorry.
so when I saw statistics about divorces, usually worldviews are something. It's like in the 7th place at
Yeah.
reasons of divorces. There are bigger reasons for people to divorce, which they do. Usually, it's incompatibility and incommensurability, things that are related to lack of investment or lack of support from the community or from the families, stuff like that. But do you think your worldviews are maybe totally opposite, polar opposite, but are they commensurable?
What do you
I
mean
think
by that? Only because I don't know what that word means.
I'll say compatible. It's a different word which not always are synonymous.
Um. Hmm.
Like for example, let's
I would
suppose
say
you
for
believe, let's suppose you believe that God is triune, and I'm saying God is Unitarian, right? Like
yeah.
nothing really turns on that specifically about our worldviews. Like I wouldn't teach my kids different things than you are.
Yeah. So, let's just start there. So I am Christian, right? My husband is not. He has completely different beliefs when it comes to that. But we are still compatible in a sense that um when we got together, we first got married, we neither of us were religious. I then turned Christian, and he is still trying to figure it out. So I pray for him, and I have to understand that when we first got together, we did neither of us held that worldview. Um, Same thing even with what we eat. I eat meat, he's vegan. Like we just have super, super polar opposite worldviews, but we each can come together in a sort of middle.
That's such an interesting relationship that you have with your husband.
Yeah.
Yeah, it really is. When I tell other people about the way we live, they're just like, "How are you still married?" And I'm like, I don't know. It just kind of works.
For
I
how
actually
long?
don't know how an interesting. I don't know how a person can like reconcile, like a deeply religious person can like reconcile being with somebody who is like either deeply religious in another religion or like not religious at all. I just don't understand how that is like fundamentally
So,
possible.
because he believes in God, he just has a hard time believing in like stories of the Bible, which I take to be true 100%. And he's kind of like just battling with it. So I think that's the middle where we meet with, is like we both believe in God, and I can see he's trying to find his way. And I just pray to God that he does eventually find his way. Because for me, it took me a really long time to find mine. And when it comes to our children, I raise my children super religious. Like I read them like bedtime stories based on the Bible. He will even read them the stories if I'm not feeling well or anything like that, because he knows it's important to me, even if he himself doesn't uphold those beliefs 100%.
Wait, is he like a vegan that will cook meat for you? It's like someone that abstain from alcohol will still, you know, keep some beers in the fridge for his friends. Is that like the type of relationship that you have?
Say that one more time. Hold on. So you said
Like,
if he abstains from alcohol and I
no,
don't?
no,
I'm like
not,
that. I'm
not
like
talking about
that.
that.
I'm like that. I abstain for alcohol. I abstain from alcohol, but I buy alcohol for people. I'm like that.
Neither of us drink.
Well, the idea is that like he might be a vegan, but because
Mm-hmm.
you are a meat eater and you like meat, he will
Mm-hmm.
still make, steaks for you. Or because he's a vegan, when you make something for you
So yeah,
for
so we
yourself,
keep
he
our
will
foods
make
in the
the
fridge
vegan meat.
completely separate, right? Because I buy a lot of meats, cheeses, dairies. His food is completely separate. I cook his meals first, and then I cook my family's meals, like me and my kids, and things like that. But and we really respect each other when it comes to our preferences. Like if we go out on a date, I always make sure that we pick out a restaurant that has vegan options, things like that. It's just about really respect and knowing what each other's boundaries are. I think that's how we've kind of made it work. It's been almost 13 years married now and 15 years together.
That's incredible.
Yeah, I wanted
I
to
know,
address
I
it.
get it all the time.
I wanted to address that point where you said it's the seventh like reason for a divorce. Well, the reason why I think it's low is just not that many people get married to other people with different worldviews. I would say most people try to find someone who generally agrees on all the main things. I think that's why.
That you are probably correct, but just to be clear, when we say seventh, when you just look at the statistics, it's a little bit misleading to say seventh, because the first, like for example, the first, which is incompatibility, usually it's like incompatibility of expectations, like what they don't have, like some type of a coordination of expectations before they are getting married, and they completely grew apart. Literally, they will just say they grew apart. This was 75% of all the divorces said that was the reason, or what did you say? Like when they attest for themselves. Then you have I forget the second one. I think it was like lack of support from the family or communion. That was also 55%. Then the fourth and the fifth reasons were like 10% and like 12 or 17%, which are like totally lower. You might think, oh, so it's like seventh reason. Well, yeah, it's like seventh reason, but it's like very, very low on the list. And yeah, I agree with you. It's probably because you are marrying into your circle, and your circle usually have the same beliefs. Yeah.
The intellectual titan herself, Chaos K. What do you think about the prompt?
What's going on? I don't know. I think it can be done. I think it's difficult. I think, especially when it comes to religion, it can be difficult. I can see how, like, say two atheists get married and one of them has an encounter with Christ and decides they want to be a Christian. That feels like worst case scenario to two atheists, right? Like, I don't know. I think it can be done. I wouldn't do it.
It depends. I think it depends on how much those two people have like an acceptance. Like how much can they accept? What is it called?
Yeah,
Oh,
that's
sorry,
very true,
openness.
Tommy.
I think it's like openness. I think, if I'm not mistaken, is like the fifth trait. How open they are to listen and to understand other people, or how much they are empathetical towards other views.
Yeah, I would say, like,
Uh,
if it was, these are conversations I would have before I got married. Like, if we were not compatible in worldviews, there are just some things I'm not willing to, like, hear out or concede upon, because I've reached a conclusion already based on whatever my experience has been, plus some kind of objectivity of some kind or another. So, like, 10
But
years ago, that
it
wasn't the
seems to
case. But right now,
yeah, but
you know.
okay,
Sorry,
but it
what?
seems to me that it is for you because it's really you're really eager to make your point. And again, I might be mistaken. Just tell me if I'm like psychoanalyze you incorrectly. But it seems to me like a lot of people here have really want to convince the other person, really want for them to be in their own side, really want to, like, in some sense evangelize, but not entirely, And for those types of people, it would be really difficult to marry outside of the opposite worldview.
Well, here's the thing, right? So, uh, yeah, I mean, and people change as time goes on. I wouldn't say that I'm necessarily like. I want to know what you mean by eager to prove my point. What you mean with my spouse or with people on this panel?
Just in general. Usually when people have that, fire inside them, it's not towards anyone specific, it's like towards literally everyone. Like, if they hear something that they find irrational, they will say something about that. Or do you
I
have to
mean,
have equality?
obviously, I try to like be respectful and tread lightly. My biggest, like, I would say I'm the most intentional when somebody else claims the name of Christ and then directly contradicts his word. I will lovingly object and correct all day long. because once that problem is brought to light, that's on them. But if I don't bring it to light when I know what they're saying or doing is wrong, that's going to be on me. So, but as far as like people who are non-believers, no, I don't really, obviously, like, I pray for people, I share Jesus with them, but I'm not like shoving it down their throat or telling them what they're doing is wrong, because in reality, like, if you don't claim the name of Christ, you're not held to that standard. You will be eventually, but
Will you marry to a non-believer?
no.
Just out of curiosity, why?
Why am I not married to a non-believer?
No, why wouldn't you? You know, let's suppose he's like
Oh,
a really
well, see,
great
here's the
person,
thing,
really
right?
nice.
Yeah, I would say because, like, fundamentally, when you get down to the foundation, we're gonna have too many disagreements. Because I believe morals are objective, and typically people who don't follow faith will say that morals are subjective. So,
I see.
Yeah, that makes
EMS
sense.
has like really great 13-year-old relationship
Mhm.
where they are like diametrically opposed to each other.
Yeah.
Um, yeah. So I'm
I'm
asking that
definitely
because
not like saying it's not good for anyone. I'm just saying, like, personally, and to be quite frank, like, I was always a believer, but I was not a true follower of Christ when I first was married. This is something that came about 5 years into our marriage, but luckily he was on the same page as well, so it was a non-issue for us. But I can't say, like, I wouldn't divorce him based on that, because we were already married. But it would have been really difficult for me to not be able to, like, share my faith freely with him, without some kind of fear of judgment or just like misunderstanding, that kind of thing.
Yeah. I think if he's judging you based off of your faith, that's not good for your relationship anyway. Like, my husband is
Agreed.
not Christian, I am, but
Mhm.
whenever I do talk about it, like, he is very like open to listen.
That's
And
amazing.
he's gone to church with me a few times, not all the time, and I
Mhm.
respect that. I just pray for him.
Yeah.
But being judgmental about you talking about it, that would irk me. That I wouldn't
Yeah,
be
and
able
well,
to.
I find that, like, there are a lot of situations where two people get married and they're non-believers, and then one or the other comes to Christ and the other has a really hard time reconciling with that. And, like, I can't imagine that dynamic and, like, how that would shift. Now, all of that being said, I that was never going to be an issue with my husband. But we spent a lot of time getting to know each other before we got married. So,
Yeah.
you know, I think we were long distance for nearly 2 years. He was deployed for 18 months out of that, like, time frame. And so literally a majority of our relationship after the first 9 months was emails.
Yeah, and that in itself is really hard to do.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we did it. And then 14 years in, he got out. So,
Nice. How
yeah.
long have you guys been married now?
We're coming on 9 years married.
Nice.
Mm-hmm. And we've been together for 12. But yeah. So I think I just really I walked into a great situation. There was
I mean, I
you know,
think, in my relationship, it was hard as the changes kept coming in, because in the beginning we were very similar in the like our terms of like our diet, religious beliefs, this and that. But like you said, as you mature in age, you do change. Because I recently came to Christ and I'm not Christian. My husband, well, he's not a Christian. He does believe in God. He supports me in ways that he can, but he's still trying to figure things out for himself. So
Absolutely.
I
I
think
think
it's
it's
how you
amazing that you
handle.
have grace for him the way that you do, because the fire of a new believer is, it's honestly, it's astonishing.
It really was. It
Mhm.
really was intense. And
Mhm.
but I think it's the fact that he would let me like just ramble on and actually listen, even though he didn't necessarily believe it himself. Like things like that I really appreciated.
Absolutely. No, that's incredible. Honestly, like his openness and your grace, like that combination. I mean, you're setting yourself up for success. Um, just hearing you, I believe he'll come to Christ eventually. And a lot of times that's what happens is the wife comes first and then the husband will later follow. Prayerfully, hopefully,
Yeah, I mean
sometimes it doesn't happen, but
that's the most I can hope for, to be
Mhm.
honest. I would love that.
Mhm.
Yeah. And
Well, and just like the more you equip yourself and the more you read your Bible and do your studying, when he does decide to like walk through that door, you're going to be able to answer questions for him that you wouldn't have when you started this journey.
oh yeah, that would be amazing conversations.
Mhm.
But our worldviews are like just so polar opposite right now. We even were joking around about starting a podcast about just like our morning conversations. It's just
Mm.
like so wild and we're so different in our answers.
No, and I
But
think that that would be incredible because I think there's a lot of couples out there that are in the same situation, especially as of recently. I would say in the last year, there's a huge move toward Christ, and
mhm.
I think that it would be really helpful for people to hear that it can work and to hear like how you're supporting each other through it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's also a lot of money to be made there if it's possible. So we should definitely do that. I'm gonna get to this person at top right. I think that character's from The Office. Um, out, out of pocket. What's your age? What do you think about the prompt?
I'm 32. And can marriage work with someone of an opposite worldview? I mean, I'm sure maybe. It wouldn't work for me.
Are you copying me?
I'm assuming. I'm assuming out of
No,
pocket. I'm not
I'm
sure.
gonna say no for Pocket. Pocket's a firecracker.
Yeah, I was gonna say that. It seems like out of pocket's very out of pocket, and I'm not sure her spouse. I'm not sure. It doesn't seem out
But I
of
am
pocket.
like a submissive little bitch for my husband. So honestly, I mean, if he said, never mind, I'd probably, unless it was Jesus. I love Jesus. So
If only you weren't unhinged on the panel, that'd be but I'm sort of.
I just wanted to be here as a looming threat. I
Yeah,
don't
you're a
need to
menace to
like really
society.
speak.
Out of
I don't
pocket
even
would
need
be.
a debate anymore. Everyone just knows.
Well, you're an intellectual
Can I
titan.
just tell
Everybody's
you
afraid
what
of you.
happened to me?
Yeah.
Can I tell you
Yeah.
what happened to me this morning?
What happened?
I was in a
I feel
debate.
like I saw some of it.
Yeah.
I was
This
lurking.
chick, I asked a dude where he was from because we were talking about eugenics.
hmm
And I know the UK has certain. It's the first time I'm seeing you. Let me see your face. You're
What?
exactly how I pictured you to look. Exactly. You're so
Face
pretty.
reveal. Oh my goodness.
I'm sitting on the bottom of my staircase listening for the baby. And then my little girl and her cousin are watching
Wait,
Aladdin.
only 32?
And then the boys are down in the front hunting frogs. So
Only 32?
I'm only 32. Wait, are you saying I'm old?
Yeah.
Pocket's gonna end up with like 7 kids. I just know it.
Oh, I hope so.
I thought she was like 45 or something.
You think I look 40?
Yeah.
What is
I've said
wrong
it to
with
everybody.
you?
I've said it to everybody, honestly.
I'm
I want
I'm
gonna
ribs on
scared.
my
report
face.
for bullying. I'm just kidding.
The girl you're
So
into
I
doesn't
was
stand a
asking
chance.
him. He said something about why is eugenics bad, and I was like, do you seriously need to ask me that question? And he was like, well, yeah, can you convince me that it's bad? And I was like, where are you from? And the little girl hops on and goes, that was racist. I'm like, I'm sorry, what?
Wait a
She was like
minute.
asking him, assuming where he's from, that's racist. And I was like, what are you even saying?
I was there too. I forgot. I do remember now.
Oh,
I was there
it's
too.
terrible.
Yeah.
Was that at like 6 a.m. this morning?
Not for me.
No, it was
Oh.
near midnight. I do
On Eastern
remember. I
Time.
do remember. I was there too.
Mm. Well, I'm in California.
Oh, okay.
But yeah, that was probably around that time then, yeah.
It's super early for you right now. It's only like 7 o'clock.
Yeah.
7:30.
I'm
Yeah,
definitely
I'm
not
like,
in New York.
I was cooking breakfast before I even got it on the table. I was called racist. What a day.
Wow.
And on a Sunday.
Wow.
Right?
Well,
Of all
On the
people, you're
worst day.
gonna call me racist. I'm like, no.
Wait, asking where someone is from is racist? What?
Apparently, dude. I'm like, I was like, yeah, if you knew how to debate this topic and you knew anything outside of your one little state, you would know that the reason I asked this is because he has an accent. And if he's from the UK, this line of questioning would make sense. Well, why would it make sense? Because they practice eugenics.
Yeah.
Hello, are you okay?
Yeah. Well, that's the thing. The left has hijacked the word racist. It's cliche. It means nothing now. Basically, everything is racist. Literally asking somebody where they're
I was
from.
honestly floored, and thank goodness, like the rest of the panel came on and was like, "That's the dumbest thing I've ever heard." I was like, "Oh man, it's crazy."
They don't get any
Like,
smarter
this
than
is why.
UK.
That's why 18-year-olds don't belong on debate panels on TikTok.
Well, in the UK, they're probably just as stupid as Americans over there.
Yeah.
They have it way worse over there right now.
Oh, the pro-life movement is not strong in the UK. It's not very.
Well, bro, they're getting thrown in jail for wearing cross necklaces
Yeah.
and Star of David. I mean, they're cooked.
Yeah. Oh, but saying marriage is between a man and a woman. Oh, sorry, being like the T thing, that protected class over there. Stuff like that.
Oh, that's insane work.
Yeah.
Are you eating ice cream, Pocket?
I think she froze.
I think she's just a confused person. I think she's just a confused person. We'll just leave it at that.
I was eating tacos, and then I saw you, and I think you were
Yeah,
eating ice cream, and now I want ice cream.
I'm eating butter pecan
Okay,
ice
you're
cream.
definitely.
Oh, that's
in your 40s.
awesome.
Favorite.
That is awesome. I love that flavor.
I'm definitely what?
I said,
What?
"Oh, you're definitely in your 40s."
Yeah, I know.
I'm not in my 40s. Fuck
That's
you.
an old lady ice cream.
Who has that
That is not
flavor?
old
Like, you're
lady
definitely
ice
in your
cream.
40s. Yeah.
What?
I am 33 years old and I love butter pecan.
I'm also 33.
Nah, you're in
And
your
I'm
40s.
32.
What's your birthday?
You're in your 40s.
I'm March 29th.
Oh, I'm January 28th.
Wow. You
Almost
guys
2
are
months apart.
old. You guys are
Apart to the
old.
day.
You guys are old.
Listen, fetus.
Pocket, it's not my fault you're still not Pocket. Voiceless. It's not my fault you're still a clump of cells, bro.
I'm
Yeah, you're not
23.
even sentient.
Hey, I'm 23. I'm old too.
You're not even
Your
sentient yet.
prefrontal cortex isn't even developed.
No, I'm a special case. I'm a child prodigy, so it is developed. Yeah.
No, so what I do is I would do butter pecan and cherry Garcia with 2 shots of rum. And then I do whipped cream, Heath bar, and like little snippets of the Heath bar toffee, and then chocolate semi-mini chips.
Yeah, you're
Bro,
40.
are you okay?
That's 40. That's 40 years old.
No, I
behavior.
started my period today.
How many bodies do you have buried in your basement? That's some psychopath ice cream. What are you okay?
Oh, so good. I'm so excited. My husband comes home tonight.
Is he gone for a few days?
Yeah, I had to go to Disney World.
Oh, bummer.
Well, He hates Disney World, so yeah, for him.
Okay, Catholic goth, how old are you? I'm always the oldest in the room.
I'm 36.
Not by much.
Yes, it's been worse before on some panels. I'm surrounded by children sometimes.
Yeah.
Well, no debates, just an echo chamber or what?
Yep.
Sounds like it.
I feel like Protect needs to put up another prompt.
EMS, can you DM me your husband's name?
Yeah.
I want to pray for him, but,
I'm very
Here
tired.
comes
hard
the
to pray
Lord.
for someone when you don't know their name.
If you can, if it's possible to make him Catholic, that'd be very good for it. For
He
him.
will not be submitting to Rome.
Oh no! Oh my gosh! Such blasphemy!
Wait, did you say Catholic?
Yeah,
No.
yeah. You should submit to Rome's authority.
No, Catholicism's not.
No.
That's
No
what you
offense,
think.
Catholic goth, to you.
That's what you think.
No, it's like a little. It gets a little witchy in there.
Listen, Catholicism breeds narcissism.
That's some clever
Now, this
rhyme,
is
but that's
an
not
interesting
true.
debate.
That's not true.
It is. The last, like, 2 popes have been pure evil.
Well, that's because the church has been infiltrated by the left.
Okay,
So
like,
how
why
are you
am I
gonna? Yeah.
Why am I gonna bow to the Pope's authority then?
By the way, the Pope right now is like a little boy from like Huntington Beach, California. He's definitely a douchebag. I've met all of them. They suck.
Yeah. I submit to no one except for Jesus and my husband.
Me too.
Jesus too. You submit to Jesus
That's
too,
our
and his
Lord and
authority
Savior.
that he established. What music is that? Is someone
I think
listening
it's
to
Catholic.
Disney?
You know what the problem with getting ice cream out is that the kids don't finish theirs, and then I end up finishing theirs.
Wow,
So now
greedy.
I'm fat.
So greedy.
It's so good though. Like I make such good ice creams.
Wait, you made it? I think you just bought it.
No, I made it.
Oh, okay. You can start a
Cher-
business.
Okay. Then
Cherry
everything
Garcia.
else,
Who?
everything else you said was unproblematic now.
Me
Yeah, because I didn't realize you made it.
making
That's
ice cream is the easiest thing ever.
It is. I have the KitchenAid attachment, so I cheat a
I
little
live.
bit.
You know how I do it? I do it how you do in like 4th grade with the 2 bags, one with ice.
I ain't got time for that.
But because I like batch make it when they don't eat it, I'm like, fuck, I gotta eat this.
What do you have like a special container that you store it in?
No, it's just a plastic bag in the freezer.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, like a gallon Ziploc.
Okay. All right, guys. I'm gonna fold these towels and hop around a little bit before I go to bed.
Good night, or
It was
not.
good
Good
talking to you
night.
guys.
Bye,
Or good
Theo.
evening, or whatever. Bye.
Bye.
I'm gonna do a lap too. See what's happening.
Yeah.
But I
I'm
came here first. Note it for the record.
Yeah. I'm probably gonna end because I'm actually really tired, and I saw Wicked. I was so disappointed.
It sucks, huh?
Yeah, I saw it twice, and like I wasn't feeling it.
Yeah, I haven't seen any of them, nor do I want to.
Yeah. Well, I'm probably gonna end because haven't been getting out much traction. I'm actually really tired. So all of y'all submit to
Ooh,
Rome.
you should go
Become
to
Catholic.
Please Live.
Who? Oh yeah, Misty's. Yeah, I'll definitely go. I'll go visit. But have a good night, everybody. Submit to Rome's authority. Good night.
Okay. Bye.